it is.
There it is. Hello, everyone. So it's not Friday, it is Thursday. And so we're kind of doing the podcast early. And I have guests. I have people actually here in my studio. I feel good. Still tired. I'm still dead, but I'm still good. I have my best friend back from COVID. She's doing good, but she's stressed. She's frustrated. She's ready to vent.
She made it.
She made it, and she's ready to vent. And we have another special guest, one of my good friends from high school, Stephanie.
Hi.
And we were in choir together. I don't even know what fucking grade we...
It doesn't matter.
It does.
It was so long ago.
It was so long ago, like 20, 21 years or whatever.
No.
But we still look good.
That
Shit.
was not important at all.
Not important at all.
I would just like to point out because we still look good. So, point it out. So, today's topic, we're not doing relationships. We're not talking about any of that crap. We are talking about kids. Yes. Kids, being a goddamn mom, all that good stuff. Dealing with, teenagers and how to discipline them, I guess. What's going to work, what's not going to work. So if you guys have any comments, any advice and stuff, feel free to comment and stuff. And all of us are mothers. We each have 2 kids each. We each have a boy and a girl. But the difference is I have an adult and a teenager. Angela has 2 teenagers. And Stephanie has 2 toddlers, yes. So
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna tell her what's to come to prepare her. It gets fun as they get older.
Super fun.
I don't know about that, but
And I'm just trying to make it, Yeah. So we're gonna go into all that. Of course, each of my kids are different. My daughter is very, outgoing. She meets friends so super fast and stuff.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
I don't even know where she gets that. No, it's not for me.
From her mom.
Hell no. Sometimes I look at the
We
videos.
should bring out those pictures that you were talking about.
But they're like vampires then. Like they don't age.
No.
Like you guys still look like you're like 12. Like all of you. Your son, your daughter, you. Like you're like vampires.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. But she's gonna be 21 in October. Son's gonna turn 15 in April. So, I mean, it's different. She's very outgoing. My son's very shy. He's more like me. Keeps himself and stuff. Always in his damn room. I don't even see him. Just when he pops out, throws himself onto my bed. Hey, Mom. I'm like, okay, all right, go away. So, my kids didn't go through the terrible 2s. They went through the terrible 3s and 4s. My daughter, she, screamed her head off at Ingram Mall, because she wanted candy and stuff. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to take her to the bathroom. I'm going to spank her ass.
I think I remember that conversation.
Oh, I think I told you, but
Yes.
And she just...
That was you?
Right.
Yeah.
That was your kid?
That was
What
your
the
kid?
fuck? Yeah. That was my kid. Yeah. And just, oh my
I
God,
think
that
she
was...
threw herself on the floor by the clothing or
No, she did not. She did it there, and then she threw another tantrum while we were in Target, but that's when I was with, Michael, and he was like, just leave her, and I'm like, oh, that's my baby. That's my baby.
How old was she?
Oh, goddamn. We started dating.
She was 20.
No. She had to be, I think 3 or 4. Yeah, because we started dating in 2003. Yeah, so probably 3 or 4.
Did you get the looks?
Oh my God.
Right? The looks?
Uh-huh.
Like, you haven't been here before? Like, why are you looking at me like your kid doesn't do this?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Because I know they do.
Oh, my kid would never act like that.
Or if that was my kid, I would have done this. Like,
Mhm.
okay, no. Like,
You don't know what I do. and what I've done, Yeah, but I mean, after that, she was fine. My son, he kind of acted up a little bit, but he was always afraid of me. He never wanted me to get after him.
I wish my kids were scared of me. They're not.
You gotta have that voice.
They're so not scared of anything.
Well, no, that's true because my kids weren't the same way. Like I could sit there and yell my head off, which I do.
Yeah.
I look like a crazy person, and they just look at me like I'm dumb. And it hasn't changed as them being teenagers. It's gotten worse, actually. They look at me like with pity almost.
I know. I hear that.
Poor mom.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
What is wrong
let's
with
let's
you?
take you to the bed. Let's go put you down for a nap.
Get you something to some damn medicine to put you to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear with smaller kids that it's the stress is that they're not independent. They're dependent of you to take them a bath, do their clothes, cook them meals, and all that stuff. Do everything for them. But then as they get older, the stress is more emotional. You have to deal with their emotions and what they're going through and all that stuff. So I don't know if that's true.
Well, for me, on my two teens, Melena and Liam, Melena's 17 and Liam is 15. And I wish I could say that that's true, but no, because they seem to have regressed, and I don't know if it's because of the previous relationships, but they have seemed to regress. So everything that they would have done when they were kids, they're doing it now, even as teens. So you will find them crawling into my bed. I will be in the restroom and they're sticking their hands under the door. Or
that doesn't stop.
No, it does not stop. It didn't for me. And then not only that, but they're constantly wanting to cuddle. So it doesn't, and so I'm not only having to deal with the emotional hormones of they're right and I'm wrong, or with their attitude, or their snipey comments. I'm also having to put up with, oh mom, where are you? Mom. And I'm like, you're teenagers. You're supposed to be super independent.
Yeah.
What's going on? You
Yeah.
know? So they are kind of regressed. So I guess it just depends.
Yeah. Oh, every kid is so different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. I don't get the whole, in the bed and shit. My daughter opens up the damn bathroom door and I'm sitting on the toilet and she has her mask on. And I'm like,
I'm on the toilet. Hello.
That's right. You're a grandma.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about how it's different.
Woo.
Because I get mad at my mom all the time. Mom, I love you. But I get mad at my mom all the time because she loves my kids more than she loves me.
Oh, and it's always going to end up like
and
that.
That's a fact. But she'll tell you that's a fact.
And then not only that, but if you get after them, oh my God, have you completed, you've done a sin right there. And I used to tell my mom, you know what? And I used to actually tell my in-laws, you know what? You had your kids. You got to raise your kids. Let me raise mine.
Oh yeah, no.
I you know what? I'm really, but I'm not as close to my mom, that's kind of, I've always been independent, and so I unfortunately I don't have a relationship like I wish that I did, or had a relationship like I wish that I had. So yeah, but I used to tell them that y'all, you got to raise your kids, let me raise mine.
It's hard, but my mom is she loves you with everything. It's the best kind of love.
God.
So
she's
her
the mom
giving
I wish
that,
I had.
Yeah, she really is. She's the best.
Sounds like the best.
Yeah, and her love is just the best. And so I'm like, okay, yes, I don't get hugged first, but I'm always like, your firstborn's here, Mom, and because she goes straight for the kids, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm chopped liver.
Love you too.
But her loving them makes me happy.
And that's what you want.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of jealousy, but but I am I love that she loves them so much. But tell me, how is it different? Is it different?
It's completely different. It's because I see how my mom was with my kids and stuff. Yes, it was always of course Anna's the oldest, and so I would get after Anna and stuff, and she knew who to go to. Oh, Anna, what happened?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ, Mom. So she was like that with my daughter. So my sister, it's me, my sister Julie, My sister Rachel, she's the one that has Amara, and then my brother has my nephew Xander. So, of course, they both live there with my mom, and so it's completely different because when she tries to get, with Amara, my sister's like,
Yeah, she's like me.
and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
was I a damn wuss? Because I was scared of my mom. I was fucking scared. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, so since I'm a grandmother now, I get my cuddles and stuff and whatever. I give her some advice, but it's like, you're the parent.
Mhm.
You take full reign and stuff.
Yeah.
You got this. She has her and her boyfriend, there. And so yeah, you guys do it. And if you need to do something, you need to go somewhere. Yeah, I'll watch him and whatever. So, I'm fine, and I spoil that kid when I can. So it's awesome being a grandparent because you get to love on them and stuff, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
Go away.
you can go with the parents now, But yeah, I mean, that kid is, yeah. That was yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
With his little chongo and stuff because of his hair.
Oh, is he trying to do a man bun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's like the hippest kid ever.
Yeah. So
That's what I had envisioned for my daughter. So I have two. I have Avery, who's 5. She's going to be 6 in May.
Mhm.
And she reminds me all the time that she's going to be 6.
Oh.
And she can't wait to be an adult
Oh my gosh.
at 5.
Oh my gosh.
And then
She's a diva.
Yeah. To the max. I always said that I'm not girly at all. I've never been girly.
Neither have I.
And so I was like, what am I going to do with a girl? Like, I don't like pink. I always wanted her to be in band t-shirts and jeans and like Converse but I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to keep everything gender neutral and let her figure out what she wants. She is the most girly girl, princess, like pink everything, purple everything, like princess dresses. But she also loves like Transformers and she loves like Sonic the Hedgehog. And so she's this perfect balance of like, feminine and masculine. I call her like my warrior princess because she's got like a fight, but she's also like super, super feminine and like just like so girly. But
as you saying that, like you even just saying that, it's already showing you like in the direction that she's going, and she's not gonna put up with anybody's shit.
Oh no,
that's how Anna.
That's how
because
Anna
she's
is.
so independent.
It's gonna be so hard.
I wish my daughter was
so
a little
hard.
bit more, a little
Like
bit more
gray hairs.
confrontational.
I know. I know.
No, my gray hair is because of my son. Like I will sit there
Each and every single one of these.
and he'll tell me like, where are your gray hairs from? Are they from here? And so it's on. I'm like, no, they're because of you, kid.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
And then I have Ben, who is 3. He just turned 3 in January, and he's a good kid, but he has never been one nothing can pacify him. Like he is just so stubborn, and like he has to go through his whole emotions until he like figures himself out. Mm-hmm. There's nothing I can do. Like if he's in a tantrum, he's gonna go through it until he's okay.
And all you have to do is let him.
Yeah. So, but it's hard because when you're in certain like social situations, you're just like, there's nothing I can do to like fix this kid's problem. Like nothing. Like he never wanted a pacifier. He never wanted, any like he's just so
he likes
himself.
To learn the hard way.
Yes,
I'm the same way. So that's why I'm saying like he loves to learn the hard way. And unfortunately, like that's going to happen.
I had to let him go through his thing and then just be there on the other side.
And then he's gonna, but as he grows older, he's probably gonna be like, "Mom, why couldn't you stop me? Because I did that." So it was like,
I'm gonna get the blame.
It is like, why couldn't you do that? And then I'm like, oh, like it's on me.
Yeah.
Like I had to learn that. Oh, it was me. Like I had to learn that.
Well, that's how I deal with Avery too. I'm like, when she's in her little mood, like yesterday? As soon as I picked her up from school, you could just tell this was gonna be a fight today. Like, take the earrings off. Like, you just know. Like, there's just this little like sassiness to them, and you just know, like, all night.
It gets worse when they're teenagers. It's not gonna get any better.
Like, I literally Googled, is it a full moon? And it was
It
legit
was.
a full
It was
moon.
a full moon yesterday. Yes, it really was. And I was like, and I was telling myself too, because I was like, I've been having a horrible week, as we all know. And so I was telling myself, it's a freaking moon. And I was like, but at what age can I not no longer use that as an excuse? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, when can I stop doing that? So
no, when she gets pregnant, I'm like, you obviously don't want to be around me. I don't want to be around you. Go to your room.
Yeah.
Figure it out, and then come out when you're ready. Like, because I just can't.
Yeah.
And she's 5. Like, it's yeah.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah.
But what I can honestly say, I guess, as yes, they're figuring it out. It is harder because they're toddlers. They don't know how to process their emotions, and you're allowing them to do that, which is the best thing possible. Instead of like spanking them and telling them, "Oh, don't act like that."
Yeah.
You're giving them a healthy way of processing those emotions.
Yeah.
Because back in our age, or back in my age, I don't know about you, but we weren't allowed to process our emotions. We were wrong, and that was it. Like, you don't act like that, and let it go.
Yeah.
And so,
but there's benefits to that too, because like the whole, like, they're scared of me, or I don't know who said that, but your son, he's scared of me. He doesn't want to get in trouble, and it's like that makes it so much easier. Like,
exactly.
just because when you're trying to like let them go through the motions of all of their emotions and all that stuff, it's exhausting. It takes a lot out of you to like be there for somebody in that way. In regards to that, like, for me personally, the way I feel that it is actually good what you're allowing them to do, because you don't want to grow up like I did, that I felt like I had to people please. I had to make everybody happy. So, and I was afraid of my mom at that time when I was like with her, and I was afraid of adults, kind of, really. So I made sure that I didn't go outside boundaries, and that I didn't do anything. And so if they wanted me to do something, like, I was happy go lucky. Okay, even if I didn't want to do it, I was like, okay, like, let me do this. And the one that ended up hurting was me. Yeah. So it's kind of good that you're letting them do that, because they're figuring themselves out way sooner than how I did it. Does that make sense?
Or
of course. Any adult does it. A toxic adult, or was raised in a toxic environment, does it. That's what I could say.
I mean, of course, I was scared of my mom too, because she didn't really knew how to talk to us. It's just using the belt and stuff. And so when I had kids, it was like, it's a different tactic. I didn't want to resort to that. I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to explain to them what they did wrong. Now, if they pushed it, then okay, I'm gonna spank you. With Anna, she wasn't, girly girl. She was just, she only got that way into high school. That's when she started, with the makeup and with the fake eyelash, whatever, and crap she puts on.
Mom,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can honestly say, and that I'm damn proud of her, because, she wanted to take responsibility. She wanted to start working and stuff, because she wanted to buy herself things. She wanted to help out with us and stuff. And so I love that she steps up, But there was one point.
Very independent.
Yes, very independent. I'm just like, oh, I'll do it for you. No, Mom. Yeah. I got it. So I forgot what grade she was in, either a sophomore or junior. I know she was dating Nathan, because she always gives me that damn look. And I tell her too, it's like, you don't realize the look you give me. You don't realize the tone that you give me. You don't realize that you do this, and I'm trying to explain to you. I would take away the cell phone. All right.
Yep.
Okay, you're not going to go with your friends. All right. Okay, you're not going to see your boyfriend. All right. And her boyfriend, Nathan's like, what? And she's like,
Yeah.
And so, like, everything that I did, it just did not work. And I'm just like, oh my God. So one day, she raised her voice at me, and I snapped, because I have so much goddamn patience with her. It just built up to the point where I snapped, and I just went at her and just started swinging. And she's like, Mom, what are you doing? And I'm there like, ah, And so I was so angry that I was, balled up my fist, and I was just like, that I wanted to punch her, And of course, Mike comes in and stuff, and he's like, and I'm just like, you better talk to her. You better talk to her.
You've been touched by
Because
an angel, girl.
I'm going.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that, of course, Ethan was sitting in the living room, and when he heard me scream,
Uh-oh. Yeah.
oh, to put the earbuds in. Yeah. So I went to my room, and I'm shaking and I'm crying because I've never went at my kids like that.
It hurts.
And I've
It
done
really
that.
does.
And so,
It hurts.
I've done the same
Yeah.
thing.
And so I felt like a bad mom. I felt,
That's the mom guilt.
That's the mom guilt.
Yeah.
It really is the mom guilt.
Yeah, because like my mom, she went after my sisters or me too, and my brother and stuff, and so I didn't want to do that, and so here I am. I didn't, and I felt so bad. So he comes in, and I'm just like, is she okay? Like, I was more worried about her than about me.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, And so I'm there just, okay, I'm trying to calm down. Okay, And so I went to her room, and I lay down with her and stuff. And, I hugged her, and I told her, I'm sorry. And she's like, I'm sorry too. And I was like, girl, you got me good, scratches and stuff. And she was like, really? I didn't realize. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, look, this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm trying to explain to you and stuff, And she was like, no, Mom, I get it. So, we talked it out. And from that moment until now, we have the best damn relationship. I could tell her anything. She tells me everything. We have just this big, bond. And she always jokes. She goes, hey, when your mom goes WWE on your ass, shit changes, And I'm like, damn, why do you have to say that? Like, I didn't mean to do it.
And so in my case, when I got to that point, my kids were toddlers. So my kid I was pregnant. I was bigger than a well. Actually, no, I was pregnant, and I had actually just had Liam. And he had just come home. And so, of course, like, I didn't know, like, I had never been taught any of, how to love positively and how to not be negative or anything like that. So my daughter was maybe 3 when she did, when I came home with Liam. And so she didn't understand, and I didn't know how to make her understand that she had me. She still had me. She still had all my love, but now I had to also share that love with him. And so she would throw tantrums. And so
I went through the same thing.
I remember, and I will never forget, because if you want to know what the biggest mom guilt is, that was the moment. That was the defining moment in my life for me, was that one night, and her dad used to work nights. And so she would throw temper tantrums every night before bedtime. And I would tell her, you need to go to bed, but it would get to the point where I would have to, like, swat her on her pamper and tell her, go to bed. And so when Liam had come home, it was the same thing. And I remember telling her dad, please come home. Please, like, I can't do this. Like, I'm struggling really, really bad.
You're going through your whole, like, postpartum
I'm going through everything. And so I'm like, please. And I begged him. And he was like, I can't. I'm working. Like, you're going to have to figure it out. So that particular night, I was talking to her godmother.
Where's the dad guilt, right?
Right, exactly. And so
bastards.
I was coming. I was talking to her godmother at the time, and I was telling her, like, oh, I'm busy. I've just been having so much trouble, and I had told Melina, okay, Nene, like, you gotta go to sleep. Got her prepared, put her in bed, and she was crying. And so I thought, okay, in my mind, let her self-soothe. You know, because you're always taught, let them self-soothe, let them figure it out, that they're going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
This child was not.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. When she threw a temper tantrum, like, it was a literal meltdown. Her face would turn red. She would start, like,
Throwing up.
I don't know. She wouldn't even throw up.
You know, does that when
I
she's
was
in
like,
tantrum.
she would not.
Now I have to clean something up.
Girl, you want to know? I would take that any day. My daughter, who could not reach anything, she's shorter. She was a preemie.
Yeah.
She would make her way on top of her dresser and knock everything down.
Yep.
Everything out of her toy box would come out.
Yep.
Her bed would become a disaster.
Let's see. Check.
Well, so
Did
the one thing that you probably aren't going to check off is that this little girl took off her pamper and started spreading her poop all over the bed, all over the walls, and like everywhere. And so that night, like when I saw her come into the living room naked, Liam is asleep. Liam is asleep, and she's coming in, and I see like stuff on her.
Nope.
And so,
Hell no.
when I saw that, I was in the middle of a call, and I was like, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh shit!" And I hung up.
Oh shit!
I hung up. And the thing is that my saving grace at the time was that my mother lived next door, and instead of going to Melena like I wanted to, because I was shaking, I ran to my mother and I told her, "You need to get her out of my sight. And I was shaking because I wanted to go at her. I wanted to hurt her in so many ways. And I was like, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I needed to pull back. And I remember my mom was like looking at me. She's like, Angela, what happened? And I was like, she got it like all in her room. And I remember I was telling her, I was like, she got it all in her room. But it's on my mattress. She put it on my room. Like, she went into my room and put it all over my mattress.
Mom.
Like, you want to be like this? Let me show you, you know? And so she was being, she was 3. And she, like, she knew how to hit mom's buttons. And I remember I was like, get her out of here. Get her out of here. And I remember panicking. And I ran to my mom and I told her, and my mom was like, stay here. I will take care of it. And so she went, she cleaned up the room. She went and she cleaned up Melena. She gave her a bath. She swatted her, of course, you know, and she gave her a bath. And I was cleaning my mattress. I had to take it off and I had to clean it with bleach. And I remember I was sitting there and I was crying my eyes out. You know, I had a newborn child asleep in the swing. And I had a crying child in the restroom, and I called my ex-husband, and I was like, "I can't do this. Like,
and you also had to ask for help, which
yes,
is probably something you don't like to do.
No, and I had to ask for help, and I didn't like it, and my rage was so drastic that I was like feeling guilty about it, which didn't make it any better because my ex-husband was like, "I can't leave." He told me again, "I can't leave. I'm at work." I know. He was like, "You're going to have to figure it out." What didn't even make it even more better because he called his mom. And so his mom calls me and she was like, "They're going to call CPS on you because you are a bad mom." And I remember like feeling like I literally broke down even more. And I remember like my mom seeing me like that and she was like, "Why are you crying so hard?" And I told her. And that was the first and last time I ever saw my mom defend me. That was the first and last time that I ever saw her stick up for me. She called her up, my ex-mother-in-law up and said, "Don't you ever talk to my daughter like that again." If she really was a bad mom, she would have hurt her daughter. But she ran to me and let me know that she needed help.
That's right.
Like, don't you ever talk to my daughter like that because then you will hear from me. And she clicked. And that was the last thing. But it seemed like whenever Melena did do something drastic like that, and I couldn't handle it, and I would ask for help, I was always told I was a bad mom. And so it was that mom guilt. And I remember I was really afraid to get near my daughter for weeks because of how angry I had gotten. And I really thought that I was a bad mom. You know, and so when I finally did start getting near her, I remember holding her and just crying, you know, and just letting that out and like telling her, I love you, this and this and that, like, please don't. And then she, like, this was years later. She was being babysit by an old friend, and I had just started working, and like, again, it happened, the situation. But this time, my husband was in the car. My ex-husband was in the car, and she threw a temper tantrum. I want it, I want it, I want it. She wanted Chicken Little. We had left it at the babysitter's house, and she wanted to watch it. It was her favorite movie. And I remember we were literally just down the street. We had just left the house. I was like, "You'll get it tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow." I didn't think it was a big deal. She didn't understand that. And here I'm telling her, "We'll get it tomorrow. We'll get it tomorrow." I had a really bad day, and she was there screaming and screaming and screaming, and I turned around and I swatted her, and I just started like hitting her, and I remember Michael just like breaking, and he was like, "What's the matter with you? You don't do that." And I was like, "You're not doing it," because he was just sitting there. I was like, "You're not doing anything," and she's like going crazy, like, "I need help.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling that, but again, feeling that mom guilt, because I could have done better.
Yeah.
I could have done better, and I know I did. I could have done better. And just, I remember feeling so um, defeated, because here I have a child that I love so much, and I can't make her understand that right now you can't have it. You're not. I still love you. You're gonna have what you want, but not right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the support behind me in any way, shape, or form. And so it was like two toddlers,
Yeah.
basically. And so
I
I
think
was
there's
just
there's a lot that goes on because you think, oh, this motherly instinct is just supposed to kick in,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to know how to communicate with my child,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to know what is going to satisfy them or soothe them, and you don't.
And you don't.
Like, you're two humans trying to learn how to like communicate with each other,
and you think about it, and you're like, oh my God. And I think now, of course, now I was 24 when I had my daughter, and I thought, oh, I'm of age, I'm an adult, I can do this. And then finding out that
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. Like, I wasn't, because it's hard to communicate to an adult. It's even harder with the toddler.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, every mom, is different in every situation. Whatever age you have your kid, I had to, at a young age, 20, I had her. No. Yes, 20, I had her, and then I turned 21.
Yeah.
But being a single mom.
That was my mom too.
Yeah.
Same age. Yeah.
And so, being that and stuff, so I had to take responsibility and, be there, be both parents and stuff. When I had my son, that was in 2007, I paid more attention to Ethan than I did to Anna. I treated her way different, and I'm guessing because I still had that anger or hate towards
Which
her
I do
dad.
remember.
Yeah, and so I was mostly paying attention to Ethan because, okay, I was with his dad, and so I don't know what point it was where it just clicked, where I was like, I can't do this to her. This is not fair. What am I doing? I don't want her to grow up and resent me and not be close.
Yeah.
And so I snapped out of it. And, from that moment, I've been close to her and stuff, and basically kind of like protecting her and whatever, because yes, she does have a stepdad. We always kind of felt like his family didn't really accept her, and because of course he's not hers. And so I kind of saw that and stuff, and I mean, his sister and mom still hasn't seen
The baby.
Yeah. And she doesn't really care. She's like, I don't care. That's not my family. I don't care. She's never been close with him, and so she doesn't, and that's her feelings. I don't, hold anything against her and stuff. That's how you feel, and she's always been like that. She was never really close because he was never that type of dad to her like he should have. And so, and it's kind of sad, And so now that she's older, she's like, whatever. Like, he hardly talks to her, more to Ethan than her and stuff. So, she's like, whatever. And I mean, it's sad. But she's like, all I need is you, Mom. Like, you've been there. So, but yeah, and of course, Ethan, he's, oh God, that kid. I mean, he's crazy. He's like me. He's shy. Yes, he doesn't like to get in trouble. He doesn't. But now that he's older, he's like a damn smartass. But he's a funny smartass, and I remember that because it's like that's how I fucking was in high school. Like I was, whatever and stuff, and so I kind of see that in him. But yeah, he's like mostly to himself. Of course, he has his friends and everything, but it's just they're two different, kids and everything. And yeah, when they were younger, they were close and stuff. And then there was like a certain age where she couldn't stand him and everything. And so now she's an adult. He's going up. He's going to be in high school. And so now she's like, "Oh, Ethan, these are the classes you should take, and this is whatever and stuff." And she was like, "Boy, I'm gonna take you shopping because I ain't gonna have you dressed like a damn hobo when you go to high school. Hell no. I'm gonna hook you up, And so I love that. I love that she has that bond with him and stuff. And he's like, okay, But
I wonder too, though, if it's like raising a girl and raising a boy, because I'm that same way with Avery. Like my expectations of her are just so much higher than I have of Ben. And I don't know why that is, but I recognize it, and I think it's because I want her to be an independent woman.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and so like, but is it me projecting like my insecurities onto her to say, like I don't want you to have to depend on anybody. I don't want you to have to like, I don't know, answer to anybody. And so then she's like this fierce little monster that I've created. Mm-hmm. But my expectations of her, like I drill her. Like do your homework, do this, do that, do this. Yes. And I'm not like that with Ben. I'm like, he wants to eat like a Pop-Tart for dinner, it's fine. Like, but on her, I'm like, eat your food, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm always on her. So
I guess because maybe
is
it's
it
like,
firstborn?
I
like
think it is for me. I think it is because I was like, Anna, I mean, when she was in high school, I was like, hey, girl, you're failing this class and this class. Mom, I got it. Yeah. I got it. I'm just like, I'm just saying, And with Ethan, because he's the only one in school now, I hardly check parent portal now. I don't check it anymore.
Really?
And he's there like, oh, Mom, I'm doing good. I'm, my grades and this and that. And I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot to check his grades. I don't even check and stuff because he's on it. She's different. She tries one thing. All right, that's it. I'm good. Like, I already tried it. Whatever. He is completely different. He sticks to it, and he completes it, And so I have more, I guess, faith in him because I want him to go to, at least one of my kids to go to college. One of you. Yeah. There's one of you, okay? And hopefully my son goes, because, we tell him, like, you want to stick in band. Like, man, you could be in, one of the universities and stuff. And the band and crap, because you're damn good. And so, and with Anna, with what she wants to do and what business she wants to do. And I was like, girl, you could do whatever you want. I push her and stuff. And I was like, look at me, I did a business. You could do a business too, I mean, us women can make our own business and stuff, And so showing our girls this, that you could accomplish anything, with a man there, without a man, you could fucking do it.
Yeah. And that's like a good point that you even say that because that's something that I've been really hard on Elena about. Actually, I've been hard on both kids, I can honestly say. But just because of what happened, what they went through during my relationships. And so, like I am a little bit harder on them, on both of them. And I'm like, okay, you need to, with Liam, I'm more with like social cues, like, you don't act like this, you don't do this, you're a guy, like, you're gonna get in trouble. You don't treat women like this. When somebody says no, no means no. Like, you don't push it, you don't, and so, like,
I'm gonna have to do
because I'm telling you, because he's a teenager now, and I'm teaching him that what he should have not learned in the beginning, and now I'm struggling with it, because when we try to tell him, I mean, it's two girls and a little boy or a boy, and so when we tell him, hey, we want an alone time, or we need that privacy, or don't touch us, he's still like, let me. You don't really mean that. Let me go ahead, and it's like, you can get into serious trouble with that. Do not do that. So trying to teach him social cues, I'm really hard on him about that. He and all of his friends are girls. All of them. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, boy, like, what the heck, Because all of his friends are girls.
Yeah.
He's got some guy friends, and it's harder for him to make guy friends, but he's got all the girls. They all want to be his friend.
Yeah.
And so so I'm teaching him, like, hey, you got all these girls that are, your friends, like, if they tell you cut it, you cut it. Because the thing is that you're a boy, and this is a woman's world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And so, and I tell him, like, you can get into big trouble. So he's kind of learning that. But with my daughter, it's teaching her, hey, don't depend on anybody. Don't do this. Like, you want to start, trying to get a job. You want to start doing things for yourself. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you to get into a relationship and find out later on or years later that you're stuck. You don't. And I want you to, be happy in whatever it is that you do. And so trying to teach her that. She's non-confrontational, my daughter. Very quiet, very petite. You could literally, like, tip her over with your pinky. And so, like, she's this tiny little thing, and so she's super quiet. Her boyfriend is, like, almost 6'1", and he's this big looking guy. He's a gentle giant. But in the beginning, I was like, boyfriend, what? Like, what are you doing? And so she thought she could hide it from me. And she got with him while she was over the summer with her dad. And they thought they could hide it. And when she wasn't even a week home, and I was like, you got a boyfriend.
Yeah. Do you laugh because you've done all of the things that they're trying to do?
Yes.
No.
I thank God that she did not do the things I did when I was a damn teenager. Thank
I can say the
God.
same thing. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I tell my daughter, I was like, thank you, because the things I did, she's like, no, Mom, no, you don't got to tell me. You don't got to tell me. Yeah, because shit, I did some things.
Well, so did I, and I'm glad that Melina hasn't done them, but even she has tried to sit there and do certain things, and I'm like...
Well, just, like, lying,
yeah.
or, like, trying to be, like, manipulative.
Well, you know what she... Yes,
like, I'm
exactly.
Like, girl, I see
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so,
I kind of let her, like... Mm-hmm. Like, how far is she going to take this?
Yes.
But I know what she's doing.
My daughter, when she got her boyfriend, when she started, or when she
it's
came
so
home...
hard not to laugh, because you see what they're doing.
Exactly. And so what she did was, like, she came home and she's, like, all lovey-dovey, and then, we had gone to the restaurant or something, we had gone to eat, and she was like, Mom, you should start dating, and, maybe you can find somebody, and I realized... She wants me not to pay attention to her. She's trying to divert my attention, and she thinks a guy's going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I remember telling her, and she kept saying, oh, Andy this, Andy that. And I was like, is that Andrew? The little boy that you used to be best friends with back in 6th grade? And she was like, oh, well, I call him Andy now. And I was like, oh, really? I said, so are y'all together? And she's like, no, we're just friends. And I was like, Melina, tell me the truth. And she was like, we're just friends, Mom. What did Mom go and do? Mom went in and opened up her phone and started seeing that they were together.
How old was she?
She was 14. And so...
Yeah, when does this happen? When does the boy craze happen?
Some people...
I remember being in middle school and being kind of boy crazy around, like, 8th grade, but, like...
I was boy crazy at 6th grade.
I heard the stories.
Or 5th grade, yeah. I was boy crazy.
I already heard. You didn't need to repeat it. We're good.
And I I can say that it really wasn't me in the beginning because I wasn't paying attention, but the guys were all coming at me, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
I think I was more boy crazy, like in elementary, and
elementary. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Well,
you're like,
Anna was the same way,
Yeah.
with her, and
but it was the boys chasing after me.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like
Yeah.
that's the
well,
difference.
it was the same thing with Anna. I
Yeah.
mean, look at her,
Yeah, exactly.
and me, I was more the boys. I was chasing the boys, but
And I wasn't. I was just like, like
you're cute. You're cute.
I loved bands and stuff like that, and I just liked hanging out with my friends. I wasn't like I didn't even really pay attention to it.
The worst part is that my ex-husband still tells the kids to this day how I was when I was in elementary and middle school. And he tells them like how the boys used to chase me and how they used to come after me. And I was like, why are you telling her stories like that? You should not be telling her. So they basically know my history because of their dad, not because of me. It's not, and I'm like, y'all don't, I didn't do anything. Like, no, I always tell her, but they do start. I mean, for Mylena, like, she didn't start admitting to liking boys until maybe she was like maybe 12 or 13. And so she was already in middle school, and I think guys were already kind of like trying to chase after her, but she was not interested. And so then there's this little boy, and she was talking to him for so long, but it wasn't until like their freshman year or like summer of 8th grade or end of 8th grade up until freshman year that they started really, really talking, and she tried to hide it. So mom over here is like, finds out a week later, and I'm calling her his mom. And I'm like,
you called the
yes,
mom.
I sure did. I'm that parent. Like, I really am. I was like,
I'm not.
and I was like, look, like,
I would die.
I'm like, I called the mom and I was like, did you know? And she was like, well, I thought so, but they weren't saying. And I was like, look, I don't want I'm sure he's a good kid because I didn't know. And I didn't know him. I didn't know her. I was upset, because one, she tried to hide it, and two, because dad wasn't paying attention. And so here they are lying, and here, all this stuff is going on, and she tried to pull it at home. So I was like, you know what, like, I'm okay, like, with them being friends, but here's the ground rules.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were, his mom and my mom, and me, my mom, were in agreement that, yes, we were okay. Like, it was like, oh, our babies aren't babies anymore. Yeah. We cried together. Yeah. We did. We cried together, and I was like, and she was like, we both agreed that we didn't want the kids getting pregnant, or we didn't want them having to hide anything. And so, like, we, like, really had to, like, sit there, and I was like, okay, well, like, this is my expectation. She was like, no, I'm the same way. And so the kids have been together almost 3 years. They've never officially been on a date until about 6 months ago because they're always with family.
Aww.
And so he's met us, he's met, of course, our family, and so, or who we consider family. Yeah. And then she's met all of his family. Yeah. And, like, they really love her. All of them. They spoil her like you would not believe. Yeah. And so,
she's a good girl.
Yeah, she's a good girl. And he's a good kid. He's so grounded, and anything that has ever happened, if she gets in trouble or whatever, like, they're very supportive. Like, they're, oh, Melina, you didn't do good. Like, hurry up and, like, do better so that way we can see you. We miss you, And so they're really good for her, and they bring out that positivity that she did not have originally. And so now it's like they help each other be better. And that was the only reason I let it continue. Because I flat out told her, like, if you're going to keep going down the wrong path, I'm going to make you break up because I'm not going to let you bring down someone else's child. Yeah. And vice versa. Yeah. So that was the agreement on both parents, and so. Yeah,
I guess it's good you had that conversation with her.
And you see, and I think that's what it is.
In the beginning, it's like because cringe,
it's
but
cringe.
Then it's really the right thing to do.
It really is. And my ex-husband was like, oh, well, they're together. And I was like, dude, if she comes out pregnant, you're not the one that's going to take care of her. I'm the one that's going to have to do it. Like, and you're going to tell me flat out, like, you don't want to have anything to do with it. So.
Well, I think the scariest thing, too, about being a mom is that you can do everything right, but it's the outsiders that come in, the friends and the boyfriends and all that stuff that, like, they just listen to. And
Yeah.
so everything they've learned their entire lives just go out the window and they start making bad choices. I know that was my situation. My
Mhm.
mom was, I had two very loving parents. I had a broken home.
Yeah.
I didn't know my dad in the beginning. It was a rough relationship. We have a great relationship now,
Mhm.
but I grew up with my stepdad since I was a baby. So I had a mom and dad. I had a great, loving childhood and all that stuff. And then when I got to a teenager, I've always just been to myself too, like independent, wanted to be on my own. I thought I had it all figured
Figured out,
out,
of course.
and didn't want to go to school. I fell in love with this boy when I was 17, um, and just thought that was the most important thing in the world because I had never truly connected with like another person that
Exactly.
way. But he was a good kid. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a honor student, all of that stuff. And when we met, we just both like just went
Yeah.
deep, deep
Yeah.
on the deep end.
Zing.
And yeah, and so that was it for now. I mean, we've been married for 20 years, but
Oh my gosh.
but I mean, it's just like my mom was good to me, and
Yeah.
still, I just like the external factors just take over, and you start making these choices that it's like, where's this even coming from?
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's the scariest part because you spend your whole life trying to do right by your kids,
So
and
we
one
just had,
thing, one thing, just like messes it up.
yes.
Like,
So
it's
we've
crazy.
had that conversation because I've been going through it and with my kids. And so, the one thing that I'm so grateful for Carolyn is because she kind of went through that with Anna first, of course. And our boys are kind of closely aged, really close apart. I mean, together. And so with Anna, she kind of had to experience that. And so I remember, like, when I was going through all of that with Melena and all the hormones, and I remember, like, even now with Liam, that I'm actually going through that with him right now. The thing what she would tell me is, you're telling them, you're hoping for the best, and in the end, if they make that choice, it's on them because you've done everything that you're supposed to. So you have to kind of step back, because I was like, when do I step back? Because right now I just like can't, and I'm like, and I even do it now. And I don't want to say that I'm holding on, but like I have plans for myself in a year from now, and I want to make sure that my daughter doesn't want to come with me.
Yeah.
So like I need to make sure she's okay, and she's kind of really not. And I flat out told her, like, if you're not ready, you're coming with me. I don't care if you're 18. Like, you can't take care of yourself, and your dad's not going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And so, but at the end of the day, I've already talked to them. I've already told them. I've given them all the wisdom that I possibly can. So now it's really going to be on them. And then they're going to be like, oh, mom, giving her life stories, like, then they joke. This is a joke at my home right now with the teens, is that mom should do a YouTube channel of life lessons with mom. So for everybody that doesn't have a mom, they can listen to me and I can give them,
You can be America's mom.
right, America's mom. And so they joke about that, because I'm always giving them life lessons, and I'm always like telling them, like, look
Yeah.
at where I was at. You've seen part of it. Your dad's told you most of it, but I'm like, look at where I've been. Look at how far I've grown. Look at though how long it took me to get to where I should have been when I should have been at that when I was your age. So like I do tell them that stuff, and they're like, okay, mom, So I hope that one day as they grow older, that they really are going to be like, you know what? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I did the same
dots
thing.
Connect for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remember me being like that with my mom, like, ugh.
I just did it yesterday because literally on the phone yesterday because Avery was having her whole thing, right, full moon, and she had just come back from my dad is in town, and so he took her shopping, buy whatever you want, have whatever you want, sugar, all of that stuff, and then she comes home and she just is like just crazy and doesn't want to listen to me and has an attitude and all that stuff, and I was like, Mom, is this what you were talking about when I was little? Like, I would go to my dad's for the summer. I'd come back, not want to listen because I had, I got to run the show and I got to do whatever I wanted. and then I come home and I'm like, throwing attitude at her, my stepdad, all that stuff, and she's like, yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, it makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense now, but you don't see it until you go through it, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
My mom tells me all the damn time. She was like, when you become a parent,
Yeah.
you
You're gonna
know.
know.
And
Yeah.
so
True.
things happen, and I'm like, yeah, mom, so this happened. See, I told you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I get it.
Yeah.
And
I
I
get
tell her, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I did that. Like, I
Yeah.
get it now, and I'm sorry.
Right?
I just
And
did
it
that
doesn't
yesterday.
it like, I don't know if it's me, but every time I get smacked in the face with something that I should have realized way back when, and then I'm finally like smacked in the face with it, or I realize it, I'm like,
Yeah.
like it's like eating crow all over again, And so it's like you get in trouble once, or you do something stupid once, and you realize it, or you realize it the hard way in my case, and then several years down the road, I'm always constantly there. When is it gonna fucking end?
Yeah.
Like the mistakes, like
Yeah.
being thrown in my face, or something happens with the kids or with their dad, and I'm like, why did I do what I did?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's
so
the mom guilt too. Is
Yeah.
we put all these expectations on ourselves to, be perfect moms because that's what Instagram shows us,
Oh,
or
of
that's
course.
what the movies show us,
Exactly.
and like, or
And-
that's what your friend shows you. The
Yes.
stupid PTA mom or whatever. It's
Oh,
like,
hell no.
the room mom that's like doing all these activities for the kids, and I'm
And
just
then
like,
when you get the looks because you're not doing that, I'm like,
I
I'm
know
not
my,
friends
my
with-
son comes
just
home
so
with
you
a
know,
paper.
I'm not
Do you
friends
want
with
to,
him.
mom? You want to join PTA, mom? And I'm
No.
like, fuck that. And
Yeah.
he was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm where
He already
those hot
knows.
mom mess moms.
He already
are.
knows.
well, I'm still new, right? I'm still
Yeah.
a newbie, and so I'm like, sure, like I'll be a room mother, and then the email chain just blows up my phone about let's do snowflakes and let's do polar bears, and I'm just like, I need out. Like,
Yes.
no, like this is too much. Like,
Yes.
I can't. Like, I literally had to email them and be like, oh, I got a new project at work. I'm not going to be able to do this. It was like, do you work? Like, I don't
Yes.
understand. Like, why are you like on Pinterest all day? Like,
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Right? I'm all if I and the kind of job that I have,
Mm-mm.
I can't do that because I'm like, the PTA. My son's like, oh, they have PTA, mom. They have this, and I'm
Yes.
like, I'm sorry, that ship sailed with your sister. Like, I am too busy. I have a whole bunch of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
So that's that, yeah, and that's the guilt again because
Yeah.
I felt bad on Avery's when Avery was little in preschool. We did the little Halloween Frankenstein applesauces and like all the cutesy like
Yes.
things, and with
But
Ben
the
I'm
first
just
kid-
like
Yeah.
a box of like graham crackers
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
Like, didn't
you
do
know.
anything. Like even Valentine's, like he came home with like all of these like baggies and like little stuffed animals, and like we literally sent him with like lollipops with like his name, like Love Ben. Like I put no effort into it at all.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. Like why do I have guilt about that? Like I'm busy.
Well, exactly.
Like I shouldn't be.
And
I
that's
shouldn't
what it
feel
is.
guilty.
No, you shouldn't. Because at the end of the day, they're still getting fed. They're still
Right.
getting
He
clothed.
participated.
He
like,
participated. He had fun. He does
Yes,
not realize
yes.
it. And so it's showing yourself that grace, and we're not taught to show ourselves grace in this society.
Yeah.
We really aren't. If we're not doing something, we're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's when you have to kind of push out the outside world and say, okay, you know what? I am doing my best because my kid has two parents. He's loved or she's loved, and they're going to bed knowing that everything's okay because mom and dad got it, or mom has it, in my case, and so like at the end of the day, that's when we have to show ourselves grace, and it's like, but sometimes we need that reminder, and that's where friends come in.
Right.
And that's where devotionals come in, or videos, or anything like that. That's when you constantly do that. If you're not getting that, then you should be seeking outside help. And so,
Yeah, I mean, whatever helps. I mean,
whatever helps.
to
like,
me, it's, I just, I learn as I go. Just, seeing mistakes that my parents did and stuff and not repeating it. And that's what you do. You learn from your parents' mistakes and stuff and not doing it, with your kids.
you're correct.
I have, total faith in my kids. especially my daughter, making, the good and the right choice, or the bad and the right choices and stuff. Cause yeah, she did lose her virginity 16, I guess. And,
Oh my gosh, you made me cry because I don't want that. Like, I know, but I mean,
16, 17, and I just, tell her, like, these are the consequences, this, and just please be safe. That's all you can do, I mean, hormones and stuff. But, um, and yeah, and so when she got pregnant, I was scared because I was like, she was a senior, and I just didn't want, I wanted more for her life, I guess. I didn't want her to have the life I did. Not that I regret her, because she kind of saved me in that. But for her, she wanted to be like a young mom and stuff. And I get that. I understand that. And I knew right off the bat she was going to be a good mom because how she is with her cousins. And of course with her brother. So, she's like, Mom, I haven't started. And I'm just like, oh my God, okay, all right. And so, when she took the test and stuff, and I'm there, and of course her boyfriend's in there, and then it showed up, positive. She comes out, and she's looking at me, and I'm just like, oh shit. And of course, when she told Michael, he was like, disappointed. I'm disappointed and stuff. And her face just dropped and changed, and I was like, yeah, we kind of are, but it is what it is. We're going to be here. We're going to support you. It's going to be okay. It's your decision and stuff, and now look, I have this beautiful, grandson, and she's the only one that works. Her boyfriend stays home, takes care of him and stuff. And so she's busting her ass, working and everything. And so, that's how I was. Bust my ass working, supporting her and stuff. So, I give her a lot of props, because yeah, she's in my footsteps, and she's a lot like me. She's very strong skinned. She would tell you straight up, and she does not hold back. And, I love that about her. And so when I look at her, I feel like I did something good. Being a single parent, I did something good. And, I'm proud of both of my kids. And so, you have two young ones, and, you're going to go through that. But you're going to look back and you're be like, fuck, I got some awesome kids because I did that, if it's going to be you and your husband, we did that, because we made them what they are, later in the future and stuff. And so, hoping, she goes far in life because she's still young, and then of course my son, I'm more on him, pushing him, and, the talent that he has and stuff. So it's, I'm hard on both of my kids. But it's not like strict and whatever. It's that motivation type, because I never got that as a kid, and so yeah, and of course I'm like that with my sisters and brother, because I helped kind of raise them as well. And, both of my sisters are in a band with their two friends, and, I mean, shit, they're awesome, and opening up for another big band and everything like that. And so, it's giving that motivation, giving that confidence, like, yeah, fuck yeah, go and rock out, and, this and that and stuff. So, and of course, my mom being a single mom and everything, and not talking to my dad for like 10 years. And then, of course, he came back into the picture 2019,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
2019, yeah, he came back into the picture. And so starting to have a relationship, with him again. Still kind of, I don't really reach out to him because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
You have
so.
to make space for him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You haven't had to make space for him,
and so,
all
yeah.
these years. And so you have to figure out, where does he fit in all of it.
Exactly, because I'm more, depending on my mom. My mom's always there and like helping me out and stuff. So I'm always depending on her. So it's just kind of different, with my dad. So, but of course, I also have two other half sisters, and I'm not, really close with them, and haven't seen them when they were babies, and I know he brought the youngest around, and she's very like to herself. She's very shy and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, kind of gets it. You're like kind of us, but it just it's just weird because it's like,
Yeah.
you're really not my sister. I'm close to my sisters and my
Right.
brother,
Right.
So, but I mean, it is what it is, and yeah, I mean, you're gonna go through a lot of shit.
And the thing is too is like,
Oh,
you know,
I mean, it's gonna be, where is enough is enough. How many times do I have to repeat myself? How many times, do I have to take something away and try to get into your head, and all you can do.
To be a good parent who's involved, like to be a good involved parent, it's exhausting.
It is.
And it's
Yes.
time consuming.
I always tell my
Yes.
daughter, I always tell
Because you
both my
can
kids.
be just a half-assed parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like, you still get to be yourself. You still get to do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
But then, the repercussions of that are your children feel
Yeah.
it. So, to be, like, a good, involved mom or dad,
Very
it's
exhausting.
exhausting.
Very
It's
exhausting.
exhausting. But they always, they say that it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
And it truly is. Like,
It really is.
the love that you have for your kids is just
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's out of
It's
this
immense.
world.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and you really don't know what that feels like until you are a mom or a dad. Like,
Exactly.
is because I didn't want to have kids. Like, I didn't have kids until I was 34.
Yeah.
We were fine just us two, and we loved to travel and all that stuff. And then, just one day I remember it was like a Sunday, and we were in the car, and I just started sobbing, and I was having trouble like a couple of days, like just not feeling myself, and I just started sobbing, and I just told him like, there has to be more to this
Mhm.
than what we're doing right now. Just going out, having drinks.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that.
Yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
Go home, have my two dogs. Like, I just felt like there was just something missing. And I was
Mhm.
like, there has to be more to life than this. And I was like, I think I want to have a baby. And so
I was surprised. Yeah, I was.
And so I was 32, I think. And so we tried, and it never happened. And I'm like, well, we've been married for so long. If it hasn't happened yet, because we didn't use protection or anything like that. If it hasn't happened yet, then we probably can't.
Yeah.
That's fine for me. So we were fine. We were going to move to LA. Like, we were just going to go, like, change of scenery, all that stuff. And we were actually going to go look at apartments. We had a trip planned. And, like, right before that trip, I was, again, like, just so emotional. I'm like, I think I need to take a pregnancy test. And I found out I was pregnant with Avery. And so we stayed here in town because I'm like, my mother would murder me. Literally murder me if I moved away, finally had a grandkid, and then moved away to, like, California. So, like, we ended up staying here, of course, and just having family is, like, unbelievable. Like, there's
so
some
lucky.
people, there's some
I'm
people
one of
that
those.
don't.
I don't.
I
So-
don't know how people do it without, like, a tribe. Like,
It is very honestly hard.
like, when do you get a break? Like,
I don't
yeah,
ever do I get a break. I've been telling her, that's why, this week I was
Yeah.
telling her, like, I need a break, especially now that I really am doing it on my own. So a little back history on my story is that I basically the only girl.
Mhm.
I have an older brother and I have a twin brother. He's the
Mhm.
baby. But we've never officially been raised together for very long. My father was a drug addict and an alcoholic, and my mother was chasing men and booze. And so both my parents were very selfish. So I did not get raised by, or I didn't see family, extended family from my father's side for very long. But when I did see them, we were the bad kids. We were the kids that you do not speak about. We were those kids, like, because they didn't like my father and they didn't like my mother, so we were the kids that got left behind. And so my grandfather, it wasn't until I was like I was almost a teenager, and of course, things had been happening in my life before then that we don't speak about. But my grandfather was my saving grace, and it was my mom's father, and he basically took me in, and then realized real quickly that he was a poor man and he wasn't going to be able to help raise me. So he basically told his daughter, you need to take responsibility for your daughter. And so my twin brother got left behind. My older brother was living out on the streets and doing whatever it was that he was doing. Um, and of course, like my grandfather took me in. And so until he couldn't, he had my mom do it. So I lived with my mom um, well into high school, but the relationship was not there. My mom should have never been a mother. I mean, I would just basically put it out like that. She should have never been a mother. Both my parents, they shouldn't have been parents. Um, and so um, they even now, I kind of had to figure things out on my own. And I was basically always alone because I didn't live with my brothers. I grew up on my own basically. And my mom, even though I was living with my mom, I didn't have a relationship with her. It was about her boyfriend at the time. And so, and her boyfriend had already known that he wasn't allowed to have any type of relationship with me. He couldn't talk to me. He wasn't interested. I was basically his girlfriend's kid. That's it. He didn't try to get to know me, anything like that. So, um, I, was very independent. I was very like, okay, I'm going to go and go and go. And of course, I ended up not doing what I said I was going to do. And I got stuck. And that's where the first relationship comes in that you all know about. And so then the second one was not any better. And so my kids I didn't do the same mistakes that my parents did, but everything I said I wasn't going to do, my kids did go through that. And so, like, you want to talk about mom guilt? I have it. And I have plenty of it. And so now, trying to get them to be positive and trying to do that and integrate that into their lives. And it's like a complete 180. And my kids will tell you, like, when you started growing and you started changing, Mom, you're not somebody we recognized. Because this person that I am now was what the person I was way back when I was in school. And so, yeah, even she says it like even she knows. It was way back when.
Well, I didn't know you in school, but it was...
She met the tail end of it, so she...
Yeah, she was holy shit.
Yes.
When I first met her, she was just like, oh, hi. And I'm like, oh,
I really was. I was so bad.
I mean, she had like a fucking attitude, and I'm just like...
I had a chip on my shoulder, so like a mild wide long. I treated guys like that. I treated girls like that. Like I didn't have, because I didn't have any of that. You think about it, and I didn't have family. I had this whole,
you were
galore.
Just mad at the world.
I was definitely mad at the world, and so I had all of this family, but here I was alone.
Yeah. And
and to tell you the truth, I'm back at that part. I don't have a relationship with my father. I don't have a relationship with my mother as of last year. And it's just because they don't want to take accountability, and I don't want my kids going around that. And I don't have any relationship with, both sides of the family. I've cut off everybody. And so basically it's just myself and my kids. And so it's kind of like I'm back to being independent. I pay all my bills. I'm the one who takes care of my kid. I take care of my kids, and
it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Oh my gosh.
It's expensive. And these kids, okay, so we're going to get into my week. So my week was...
Are your kids expensive though?
No, they're not.
No, my daughter, I got my son a phone when he was in 5th grade, but he didn't take it to school. No, he didn't. I was kind of preparing him for 6th grade.
No. I cringe because my kids have phones.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
No judgment here.
No. Yeah, I know, I'm not judging you. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So...
My kid does. And he broke it this week. And I mean broke it. And he was like, well, Mom, I broke my phone. And I was like...
I didn't want to have kids, remember? So
yeah.
I was that judgy childless couple over there, like, I'm never going to let them have an iPad, and I'm never going to let them do this. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Right?
How could they do that?
And now they have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, you're fine.
So
I
that's the
just
same
want
thing.
to eat my food.
And so
Right?
the thing is that he came home, or no, he texted me, Mom, I broke my phone. And I was like, how bad? And he is like, bad. So then he ends up, so I end up telling, his dad, like, I'm not going to buy him a new phone. I cannot afford it because, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
they're expensive.
These things are
I'm a single mom.
crazy.
His dad doesn't help.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna not get him a phone. If I do get a phone, he gets a phone, he's getting my old phone, and I'm going on an upgrade.
He's getting a flip phone.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I know.
He's getting like a pager.
And
Like,
so
Right?
this boy
911 me. I don't
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
He came
Exactly.
home. He came
Smoke
home
signals,
and he
I don't know.
showed me the phone. I'm surprised
It's,
my
like,
kid is
busted.
still alive.
Thing.
So
She sends me the damn picture, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn.
Yeah.
Kids
Yep.
are expensive.
So they are, and and the thing is like, this is my thing, is that he's been telling me for over a year how he wanted a new phone. It didn't work. He's been messing up his phone. We got the phone at the same time. His phone is the one that has, and it's the same phone, mind you. He's had issues with charging it. He had issues with the home button.
That sounds
He's
like me.
cracked it so many times, and
I'm
now
the
it's broken. And I'm like, what is the matter with you? Like, what don't you understand? And so I'm like,
I'm the worst. Though.
You-
I'm the
oh my God.
worst.
and I tell him, like, don't you, like, you right here, you think I'm rich? Like, don't you appreciate what you have? Like, I worked really hard. You fought really hard to get this phone, and look at how you're treating it. And so he comes home, he shows me, and I was like, you know what? I'm not buying you a new phone. It still works. Put duct tape on it. Like, put, like, packaging tape. So he has packaging tape around it. And so not only that, but then he decides, I'm like, I'm going to go take a nap. I need to, like, decompress, because I had just gotten off of work, and then I had to deal with him. And so I was like, I'm going to go and take a nap, And so I'm taking my nap. I ended up getting a message. I thought it was from Carolyn. And it turns out it's from my son. Oh, more bad news. I lost my wireless headphones. And I'm like, boy, you just bought those on Saturday. Because I had already flat out told him, I'm not buying you headphones.
I'm the same way.
And I was
I
like,
don't know why I'm like that.
I'm like,
They already know, don't give Stephanie anything important. Don't give her money. Don't give her, because I will lose it. I don't know. Like, it's just, my mind is just so scatterbrained. Like, I don't know where I place things, like, at all. Like, ever.
yeah.
Like, I'm surprised my kids are still alive.
So
like,
even
Right.
so don't even remind me, because
Yes.
he's been doing that. And so, like, it came out, that was Tuesday.
does he have, like,
Yeah,
ADD
Tuesday.
or
No,
anything,
it was.
or?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so.
And so he's got ADHD.
I feel him.
And so
he's
then,
like my spirit animal.
so not to mention, on Valentine's and on Tuesday, he forgot his home key. Well, I told y'all, I'm not a team lead, I'm not a manager, but I'm really extremely busy in my job. And so, like, I'm in meetings, or I'm training, and at this time right now I'm training somebody. So I can't actually, even though I work from home, I can't leave my room or leave my desk.
Right.
And so he texts me, and they always text me, I'm on the way home, I'm on the bus, or I'm off the bus, I'm walking home, or I'm at the door. And so he comes and he's like, oh, I forgot to mention, I got out of school already, I'm actually on the way home, but I forgot my key. He's done that 3 times this week. I forgot my key, and I'm like, boy. And I finally told him today, I was like, because he did it again today before I came over here, and I was like, I'm trying to give you grace. I'm trying to be patient with you. I said, I was like, do you, like, and I was talking to him very calmly.
That's when you know you're in trouble.
Yes, and then he was like, yes, ma'am. He was just like, yes, ma'am. And I was like, do you not understand? And I did tell him, I was like, looked at him straight in the face, and I was like, do you not understand right now how much trouble you are? Because I'm actually talking to you, right? And when I want to really beat your ass. Like, I told him exactly like that. And I was like, I want to beat your ass. I was like, do you know how irresponsible you've been this week? Like, I've given you everything, and you're just like,
I'm the same way.
like, being irresponsible. Like, and
when I was in school, I'd forget my key all the time, or I would lose it or something. So, like, I started leaving my my window unlocked in my room. So
well, he can't do that because we're on the 3rd floor.
So I I would leave my bedroom window open. That way, if I forgot my key or whatever, I literally had to climb through the window. And it's high. It was,
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
high. So I'm
breaking
like, yeah, I'm really surprised how I even got in there because I'm like not athletic at all. But I would have to like climb in and then like basically fall like on my desk or whatever was in front of my window or whatever. But I don't know why I am that way, but it's something about me, and you just love me through it. And
well,
like,
I'm trying to. I'm really trying to
I
love
don't
him,
know.
and I'm like, I love
can't
this
fix
kid.
it. Like I can't
He
fix it.
does not seem to know how to fix it, and my daughter is very organized. Like she's
No,
got
I'm
organized.
So I have OCD too, and so like everything is like super.
I'm that way.
Yeah, but I also have like the ADD or the
Yeah.
ADHD, and so it's just like I don't.
He's going through a
pay
phase right
attention.
now.
Yeah.
He's going through a phase. He's a teenage boy. He smells. He's stinky. And he's this tall, big boy. His room is always constantly a mess. I'm trying to. He used to have OCD and have it really clean, and now like this switch, I'm not liking very much because I have OCD, and I'm like constantly, there. And I don't even have OCD, honestly. I have tendencies of OCD because of my ex-husband, my second ex-husband.
Oh, because you have to have everything a certain way.
Yes, and how bad it would get if I did it.
Yeah.
So,
Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yes, basically, I really was.
Remember that movie?
Yes.
Where the
I won't
towels-
even see the movie.
The towels were all messed up.
I won't see the movie because that's how bad it really was.
Oh, no.
And so, so I do have it, but it's because a habit that I actually had to learn, and I'm trying to break out of it. I've gotten a little bit okay, but not really by much. And so, but my son's room is like a mess. And then not only that, like he's always constantly losing things, and I'm like, if you clean this room, you wouldn't lose it, And so,
oh, I've heard that my whole life.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, I finally told him, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like I get to that point where I'm just kind of like, I have to tell him that because if not, I'm gonna kill him. And I'm going to go to prison, and that's not going to be good.
So, my mom guilt, too, comes through, like, just being here. Like, I told you, like, by text.
Oh. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I have never, like, I think I can count. One of them was when Ben was born. And I think there's more recently now because I'm just, like, exhausted. I'm like, take my kids, please.
But
when I had Avery and she was just my one and only, she never slept over at anybody's house. Like she was always with me, and I never wanted to leave her anywhere. And if I did, I would literally have like separation anxiety, like crying in the car.
Yeah.
Like, is she gonna be okay?
It'll
and
get
she's
better.
with my mother. Like
Yes.
she's with my mother, and I would still be like, well, I don't know. Like, what if she wakes up and she doesn't see me there, and like all this stuff, and like I felt like if I wasn't with my kids, then I was being a bad mom.
Which
like,
is not. And
no, I know it's completely irrational.
Yeah, of
like
course.
way of thinking and just ridiculous. But like even now, still like I don't ever make time for myself at all. Like if I go to do nails, if I go to do like I never get my hair done ever because it takes like 2 hours, right, to dye your hair and like get it cut and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 2 hours I could be doing something else, like cleaning at the house or doing laundry or whatever. And it's like, I never feel like the time to put towards myself is worth it.
Yes,
but I need
exactly.
To
I think we've all been, you do actually need to stop. And it's actually going to get better as they get older. Is the guilt still going to come in? Yes, because I felt guilty even coming over here.
Yeah.
I was like, and I even told myself, like, oh my God, like, I need to get them something hot. They're teenagers. There's leftovers in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
There's sandwiches. So as they get more independent, like, it is actually going to get better. And
I have help.
You do
like,
have
I
help.
have a spouse who's like, we're super 50-50 on everything. So,
oh, that's the best.
But I still feel like I can't allow him to take care of his kids.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
Why does that does not make any sense.
Yes.
But for some reason,
I have a certain way that I do everything. My kids come to me, and I'm just like, you have a dad there. And I'm just like, come on, but it's me because I've always been there. Yeah. I've always taken care of them because, when he was in the military, he was deployed. So I was there constantly, and so, when Ethan was born, like he took him to his families and stuff. And I was there texting him, when are you bringing him back? When are you bringing him back? Like, where's my son and stuff.
You want time away from them, but then when you
You
have time away
you
from
don't
them,
like it.
Yeah, but even when I have, like date night or whatever and stuff, I'm just like, okay, you guys be good. And I remember my son, when we were living with my mom, he was like, Mom, take a picture of me so you can remember me. And I'm like, stop! You're killing me, boy!
I love it.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, stop it. And so, even now, like, I hardly see my kids. Anna's working. She's driving. She has her own car and stuff. I actually gave her my car, so she goes off and stuff. And I'm just like, that's my buddy. That's my. We go to Target. We go to Walmart. Like God. And then my son, like, he's always in his room and stuff. So when I get them, to have dinner, and it's just them, and I'm just like, it's my kids, my kids. And so.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just really, really close with them. I love them to death and stuff. But yeah, I never take time for me. Never. I always put everybody ahead of me and me last. And now
it's not even that like those people expect you to do that.
It's just
but
automatic. You expect it for yourself.
You should.
Yes.
Do that. Like, I don't know how that makes sense.
I don't know either, but I'm just like, whatever.
It's like we're wired that way, like just naturally.
Well, I kind of been like that because I've always taken care of my sisters and brothers, so I've always put, them ahead and stuff, and so that's why my mom always depends on me because I am the oldest, and so it's just that's how I grew up, taking care of everybody, and so now I have my family of my own and stuff, and I put them first, Now that they're older, like sometimes I go and do my hair or whatever. I don't get my nails done, or anything like that. One of these days, I would love to go and enjoy a spa.
Yeah.
Just
hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. But now that they're older and they don't depend on me as much, yes, I know like a year or two, I think at my mom's and I get a text, my son, when you coming home? God damn it, boy.
Yeah.
Never. It's like, why? Yeah, but I mean, it's funny because he's like, well, where are you going? I'm not, you don't gotta worry about it. I'm just worried that I'm gonna come home, okay? That's what you gotta worry about. And he's like, but come on, Mom, where are you going? I'm like, oh my God, boy. Yeah. I'm going to your grandma's, or I'm going here. I'll be back. So, it's funny.
I think the only thing for me, I had to learn the hard way because of where I had been. And I had fallen so down that I couldn't even see myself. So I did have to learn how to take time for me, and it. Oh my God, I felt so guilty because again, we had just gotten out of a really bad situation, and now I'm having to like take time apart from them to build myself back up, and it for me, I had to like literally, and I had people very supportive at the time telling me, you're not a bad mom for trying to give yourself love. Yeah. For trying to take that moment for you. You can't, and they would always constantly drill at me. You can't give from an empty cup. Mm-hmm. You cannot give from an empty cup. Yeah. So
put the mask on you before your child or whatever. Exactly. But still, it feels so unnatural.
It does.
It
really does.
To take care of yourself before your kid. And you tell yourself you're a bad mom because you're not saving them first before yourself.
You remember the calls when I first started, was on my own and I had the kids and I had to take time by myself. And remember, I would call her like crying because I was like, I'm alone. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And I would just end up staying in my house, and cry because like, yes, I needed that time away from them, but I also realized like I needed that time for me. But even at that, like I was filled with so much guilt, I would cry. Yeah. And then after a while, I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And so that's when I started like, okay. Then that's when I started taking time for myself. And I would tell myself, like, you do have, like, you provide for the kids. You give them everything you need. Now you kind of need to show yourself love because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. Yeah. So, and nobody's going to tell you when or, like, that you've hit the boundary.
Yeah.
You have to say it because everybody's gonna let you keep going until you crash and burn.
Oh yeah.
And then
they get used to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of having to do that. And so now I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna go get my feet done, or I'm gonna go do this. But you know what? I'm the type of mom too that I'm like, okay, let me go do my feet, or I don't do my nails, but like I'll do my feet. Like I love pedicures and stuff like that. And so I'll tell my kids, y'all want to go? And so my son will get pedicures. My daughter doesn't like pedicures, but she likes doing her nails.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, they're like, oh my God, I spent so much money on this stuff when I could have just bought it at home.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
you know, and so, but I'm like, you know what? They're smiling.
Yeah.
And that's the big takeaway is that they're smiling, they're laughing, and mom still showed that self-love to herself. Even if she doesn't, if I didn't get away, I still was able to do for me and not just, you know, and I was able to share that experience with them.
Yeah.
So there's that type of thing. And then, of course, like I've been telling her recently, like, I do need time away. I've had the kids for 2 years because of COVID with no break in between. The dad doesn't even ask to really see them anymore. He'll talk to them throughout the day, but on his weekends, he doesn't ask for them. So they're constantly with me.
Yeah.
You know?
And I have family, and it's like that for us. And I think it's just the way that I am. Like I want them there with me all the time. Like I don't know why it just feels uncomfortable or unnatural to like be away from them. And then I also don't like to ask for help. I'm horrible at asking for help. And I tell my mom that too sometimes when I'm just feeling overwhelmed. Like I'm never gonna ask you for help. If you can just offer me help, and I'll take it. You know, because you need somebody to just like know you're never gonna ask me, but I'm always gonna ask you. Is there anything I can do for you? Do you want the kids to come over? And I'll never say no. Yeah. Sure. Yes. But I'm never gonna go to you and like ask you to take my kids. Like I won't.
And I'm the type of person that like I'm the type of mom, or I've always been the type of person that, you know, my parents, of course, you know, my background, and then of course his parents, like they had their kids, so it was my responsibility. I'm the one who decided to have a baby, so I'm not giving them to anybody.
Yeah.
If I can't go to a party, or because I don't drink around my kids, I don't do any of that. And so once I actually got pregnant with them, like I really kind of stopped partying, and I, you know, because I didn't want to show them that because I had seen that. Yeah. And so I was like, my mom would tell me, well, why don't you take the kid, or I'll take the kids and I'll go out, and I would be like, yeah. My kids to this day have really never spent a night anywhere other than their dads or grandmas.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one then, because
no, I think the less that they do, the less harm. Yeah, you know, and I think to myself, like, am I holding on too tight? But I'm like, no, yeah, you know. So don't feel bad. So they're like I told you, they're 17 and 15, and they've never spent a night anywhere. There you go. And I tell them, don't even ask me because it's not happening.
Well, I mean, my kids, you know, Ethan stayed a night at a friend's, you know, Anna's had too and stuff. They're not, I mean, they're like me. They're not expensive kids, you know. Like I said, Ethan got his first phone when he was in 5th grade, but didn't take it with him only until he hit 6th grade because I knew, you know, just either if he had to stay after school, whatever and stuff. And then, you know, they're not like, oh, they need the newest upgrade and, you know, the newest phone and stuff. No. Anna works her ass off and stuff. And, you know, that's why I love that she was in school working and she was like, oh, Mom, you know, I'll go and take Ethan, you know, I'll get him shoes and, you know, get him whatever. And I'm like, okay. And she took care of her school supplies. She took care of whatever and stuff. And I'm like, oh, awesome. You know, I just get to deal with Ethan. Okay, good. You know, she wanted to take on that responsibility because she knows what she likes. She's very particular and stuff. That's why I hate shopping with her because I'm like, hurry up. Like, because we're too different in what styles and stuff. And so she's very there, like, you know, taking her time. And I'm just like, I'm more like, okay, I know. And I get. And but she's just there like da and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're killing me, kid. But yeah, she that's what she wanted. She wanted her own money so she could buy whatever she wanted and stuff, and also help out. And so even now, that she gets food stamps, and that's why I tell them, you live in my house, you should thank God I'm not like a grandma, because when we lived with my mom, it was like, you need to pay me $200 every month. I'm like, okay, that's reasonable. All right, and I would. And so with her and her boyfriend, I'm like, all you gotta do, you keep the bathroom clean, you keep the kitchen clean. That's the only two goddamn things that I ask. Please. Please.
Because I hate to do that.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. And
I
they're
hate washing dishes. Oh my god.
I know.
hate it.
It's
I
oh
don't
my
like
god.
to touch food and like
Well,
it's
that's what
disgusting.
the good thing about teenagers is once they become
Yes,
teenagers, you can
yes.
give them that responsibility.
I'm excited. Like, do your own laundry.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
she
Well,
is.
I
amount
started-
of laundry, like
I-
a family of 4, is like ridiculous.
I-
Like, what are y'all doing?
I brought her,
I
like,
know. I
kids.
know.
My daughter, in the beginning, like when she was younger, while she was in elementary, she was in fourth grade, fifth grade, and she was washing her clothes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, and she would put away her clothes, and it wasn't until she was like at the middle school that she started like actually washing, dishes. But like I was like, girl, you gotta wake. She started waking herself up every morning, by alarm clock at least by second or third grade.
Whoa.
And she would wake herself up because I would tell her, like, I want you to be independent. I was so hard on her. I'm like, I'm still a mom, and it doesn't matter what age, I'm still there for them. That's how my mom is. Doesn't matter. I'm in my fucking 40s and shit. She's still there. I could always depend on my mom. And so it just doesn't stop. Yes, they're independent, but I'm still there guiding them. Yeah, and I was too. It's just I wanted them to be independent.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to sit there and be like, "Oh, mom, well, you didn't wake me up, or you didn't do that."
Yeah.
I would still wake up with them. I would still give them their breakfast, but they had to wake themselves up.
Teaching them responsibilities.
Teaching them responsibilities, and so my kids, they do wake themselves up. They do get.
I'm not always gonna be here.
But are they completely independent? No, my daughter doesn't want to work right now. She wants to go to school. She's 17 years old. And I'm not forcing her to, but you know what? It really would help. She could buy her own stuff. She could do. She's not wanting. She's like regressing, and so that's why I told her. I said, I have plans in a year from now. Like either you do something about it within the next 6 months, or guess what? You're coming with me. And so I kind of like tell her that, and my son's like, well, he started telling me, well, I think I want to stay here, and like he wants to stay with his dad. And I was like, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Your dad would not watch you. He would not he's not a parent. He's a part-time parent. Mm-hmm. He's the let me go to parent so I can get the good stuff, not to sit there and teach them anything.
Right.
And so, the less he's involved with them, the happier he is. It's not even the kids, because the kids actually want more and they crave more from him, and he doesn't give it to them.
Yeah.
And so, he was like, "Oh, I can stay here," and I was like, "No, you can't. Sorry, you need more, And so he's like 15, and he's like, "Okay, I already want to go to work. I want to start driving. I want to, And so he is the one that's like, I want to run already. And I'm like telling him, sure. So I might end up having him start working, since he wants to do it already, start having him work so he can start gaining that, because he's like, Mom, I want this, and I want to take care of you, and I wanted to, and so he's like Anna, he's like independent, he's like, mommy, I love you, but then when he wants to do something, he's like, peace out, and so my daughter, she's like wanting to be independent, but then she's like, mommy, I can't do this, and I'm like, and I try to tell her, like, I want you to be, independent. For the most part, she is. She cooks, cleans, she cooks dinner now. They all cook dinner. I'm gonna love that.
Yes.
You're gonna love that, because now I have to fight to cook because they each want to cook.
Dang.
So,
that's nice.
that is, but then at the same time too, they're like, Mom, what are we gonna eat? Mom, so it's always like that. Yeah, like that flip flop.
Right?
It's that flip flop there. So it's kind of like you have to kind of balance it, but it's gonna happen. And I do wish my daughter was a little bit more independent. I don't want her to depend on anybody, especially a guy. And I always tell her, like, you want to make sure that you can do this. because if something happens, at least you're not going to falter. You're not going to fall so hard,
Yep.
you know. And so she is kind of like seeing that, I guess you could say. And since all of this happened, she was like, before it was so hard, we just literally mended our relationship. And she is one of the closest persons that I'm really, really close to. But in the beginning, she couldn't stand me.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
I
didn't
think
want to
that's
have
I
anything
think that's
to do.
every mother and daughter.
Yeah, she like really did not, and she was she flat out told me, "I'm not proud of you." Like and to be told that by your child is like,
yeah.
oh my
I
god,
get the I don't love you. You're a bad mom.
yes,
Like 5 years old. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, whatever.
But then you go in behind the door.
What do you know?
Yeah.
Just went to Disney last
Yeah.
week. You
Yeah.
little shit.
Yeah.
Like, God,
I take it back.
you didn't say that when you were on Slinky Dog. Like, eating your damn churro. Like,
You loved me then.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, like, oh my god, like, no, they don't realize that. My daughter is like, she thinks she's still in a 2-person income, and so she thinks she's princess, and she's like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want, and I'm like,
we'll
get a job. Like, if you get a job, then you can
They
have
have
it.
this thing where you go do something and somebody pays you.
Yes.
That's really cool.
And then she's like, Mom, and I'm like, no, So it's trying to get her there, and I tell her, like, you want to be an adult, and you keep saying you can't wait to turn 18. Well, guess what? You're turning 18, and you still don't have a clue. Like, you need to do something. You need to do something really, really quickly, because if not, guess what? You're going to be under mom's roof. I don't care if the law says you're 18. If you cannot take care of yourself financially or anyway, I was like, then that means you still need mom.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what that year brings up for her. But she's been doing good. My son, however, this past week,
It's a key.
it was a key and a phone and headphones, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and he's
She
looking.
calls me and she's like, so, and I'm like, oh shit.
What
happened? Tell me.
Mhm.
And she's there, and I'm just like, mm-mm. And even when she had COVID and stuff, and I call her to check in and everything, she's like, they keep coming in my room and this and that. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm gonna buy you a damn Nerf gun so you can shoot them to get out.
Because no, they weren't. They were not trying to quarantine. My son kept coming in trying to lay down with me, and I was like,
I'm dying, leave me alone.
yes, just let me die in peace.
That's so funny. We used to say that all the time. Like my husband, like, you can't get COVID because then you're gonna have to quarantine, and I'm stuck with these two.
Yes.
Like, no, like
true.
I will go lick a shopping cart at HEB. Like, I don't even care.
That's the thing. Is
Us moms cannot afford to get sick.
I cannot do that. And the thing is, too, is like I would tell them, like, go away, like go away, and they're like, Mommy, and I'm like, you were supposed to stop this at toddler. You know what? I do.
I know.
I
Everybody
do.
says like they're only little once. Blah blah blah.
No,
like,
they're little forever.
No,
like, I
what?
really do feel
Well,
that.
like, just I see their cute little faces. You deal with babies all day, like
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know they probably get crazy and stuff with like.
Oh yeah.
But
They do.
they're so cute.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't even tell me, because then I get like, I have 2 teens, and I'm thinking like.
But I feel like sometimes they have to be cute so like you don't eat them. Like,
I mean,
my kids will tell you I still bite them. Like,
I love to bite. Too.
Yes.
I'm a biter.
yeah, I'm a biter, and so when they had those thick thighs and those, I'm like, "Ugh,"
Oh yeah. I mean, I get chubby babies in here and
I
stuff,
know.
and so every time a client comes in here, and I tell them, I'm like, they ask, like, do you have kids? And I was like, yeah, I do. I got 20-year-old, and I got I'm gonna be a 15. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you? And I'm like, I'm 41. What?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. And yeah.
How are we 40, by the way?
I
I
have
don't
no
know.
freaking
I don't
idea
know.
what happened, but it
I
did.
don't feel 40.
I just
I
turned
really
41.
don't. And I was telling her, because I was looking at, pictures, either high school or even like in my 30s and stuff. And I was telling my daughter too. I was like, I'm looking at those pictures, and I'm looking at myself now. I love the way I look now than I did back then.
You are so
You were
Oh,
adorable. She was
with my
adorable.
fucking
Annie?
short hair and
I
stuff.
love the pixie hair.
I remember her in Annie.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do it.
No,
I didn't do it
but
because I had bad grades, and everybody was like, "Oh, you thought that was, that was oh, what was it? You're too good for that part." I'm like, "What else part was there?" I had bad grades. Anne got it. Yeah, she was my understudy, and so she got it. And so I was like, that was my first, and I was like, I'm not even like a good singer and stuff, and I had to belt that shit out.
You were.
Yeah, you were.
Hell no.
Yeah, you were.
I thought I wasn't. And so senior year, we're
so
doing.
Yeah,
cute.
she was so adorable.
I went through that phase too, but I didn't look as cute as you did. Like that whole like Natalie and Brulia.
Right.
Like,
oh my god, I was so in love with her. Yeah.
Shit.
So, and you were so little and like just looked like I don't know, like a baby. And
I was always so curvy.
I know.
And people see me now that when we were in high school, and they're like, "You haven't changed at all."
Really?
Like at all.
Aww.
Like, and so like
Well,
even my kids are like, they'll see pictures of when they were babies and when I was with their dad, and they're like, "Mom, you have not changed. Like your face, nothing." And then they're
I feel like I have.
why does my dad look like he's 70?
That's funny.
You know, and he's younger than me.
So Rudy, Steven, Beth.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yes.
you see?
Aww.
And then prom.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
remember
her.
Yep.
you. Okay, so funny. Well, this is not even on the topic of kids.
Well, that's
but,
not.
well, no, like prom, I had to sneak in
Oh.
because they like kicked me out.
What?
Yeah, my mom just my poor mother. But yeah, I had too many absences that I couldn't make up, and I had already turned 18. I had just turned 18, April 5th was my birthday, and they kicked me out a month before graduation.
What the
And
hell?
so I had to go into the office, the principal's office. What was his name? Mr.
Oh my god,
Whatever.
I don't even remember anymore.
I
Don't
just
even.
remember the vice principal, the black guy that would
Oh yes, I remember
with
him.
the little paper.
Yes, with
He
the
always roll it up,
Yeah,
and he would like
and
tap
hit people.
everybody.
Yes!
I remember
Oh my
that.
god, yes! And I'm like, oh shit, trying to avoid it, and
I always moved away from him.
I
I thought that was
remember
kind of
what his
creepy.
name was,
I did too. I'm like,
what the fuck are you doing?
What are you
Paper.
doing? Like, get away from me. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, oh my god, this is bad. I went back on campus. So they had already expelled me. I went back on campus with my ID because they didn't take it, trying to buy a prom ticket. And so then they scan your ID. I don't remember if you remember, but they scan your ID to give you the ticket.
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, your ID's not working. And I'm like, what? So they're
there's a glitch. What are you talking about?
Like, I totally go here.
Yeah.
What a freaking loser.
It says it on there. Holmes.
So they're like, you're going to need to go to the office. I'm like, okay. So, of course, I don't go. And so it was like you had to bring your ID with you to the prom if you, like, forgot. You needed your ID or something like that in order to get in.
I remember that. It's such a blur for me.
Yeah. And so I had to, like, I think I had to buy a ticket there. And they're like, do you have your ID? I'm like, oh, yeah, I have my ID. So I just, like, was able to get a ticket. And I was able to go, but I like legit like crashed like our
The party.
prom. Yeah, I crashed our prom, but I don't even remember anything about
Like,
it.
I
I don't even
remember
know
this
why
one.
I wanted to go in the first place, but
Yeah, like I remember being so
You
excited.
can't kick me out,
Right?
bitches.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
oh my god, I went with my husband.
I went with mine. Too.
Yeah, he's from McCullum. He's a Southsider.
Okay.
So he went with me, but it was a good time. It was a good time. Seeing my
Yeah.
friends, and I think we were lame, and we went to like, I don't know where we went to eat afterwards, like Denny's or something
I
like
was
that.
so mad because we had this whole day planned out, and so we went with friends. Of course, we met them. We met one of my friends, and she worked at a retirement home. So we went. Obviously, they had the best scenery, or I don't know what.
At the retirement
and
home?
at the retirement home, and they were like, "Oh, they're so pretty
You think
and
you're all
stuff."
badass.
Right, and we did.
Rolling up in a fucking chair.
Yeah. And they had like They had like a pool, like they had, I don't know, it was like cascading. It was really pretty. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was. But still, like, we're in a retirement home, you know? And so apparently it was I think it was like Jennifer. Do you remember Jennifer Torres?
No.
I think I do.
It was Jennifer
We
Torres.
need to bust out the
Yes,
yearbook.
we do need to bust out the yearbook.
Oh,
Oh my god!
Hold on, I'll be right back.
So so I remember like we went to this retirement home and it was like this rich retirement home. And so like they had
for
like
what too? Because
Right?
you didn't have Instagram, so you're
No.
just printing out these pictures.
Exactly. We had all of this film. You know, and I remember, so we went to the prom. He didn't dance with me.
Aww.
Not once, because he didn't dance. And I was there, like, I didn't care. I was, like, still dancing.
You're doing the Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, exactly. Well, girl, I was doing the Tootsie Roll. And I go to sit down, and he's pissed. And I'm like, what? Why are you so mad? And he was like, well, why were you dancing with that guy? And I was like, what guy?
Seriously?
Yeah, baby. Yes. And so she was like, where? He goes, you were dancing with that guy. And I was like, what guy? He goes, some, guy came behind you and started like dancing with you when you were doing the Tootsie Roll. Didn't you feel him? And I was like, heck no, I'm having fun. What the heck? He was having fun. Like, what? He goes, he was all up on you. I was like, there was a bunch of bodies all hooked up together. Like, how am I supposed to know?
So basically,
I don't have that
this
one.
is our
I
2000
never got it.
senior year yearbook. This is ours.
Oh my
I think
God.
I only had my
Yep.
freshman.
Yes.
Oh my
We
God.
also
And-
got a millennial
Oh my God, I had that book, but I
I
don't even know
don't have that
what
one.
happened to it.
millennial right here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And so
Okay, let me see
this
where I
was
am.
it.
Oh my
What
God.
year is this?
2000.
Are you gonna be? Are you
I
gonna
don't
be in
know.
there?
I don't know.
You should be because it was the beginning of the year. They took all those pictures.
Oh,
Oh,
my
shit.
God!
Baby.
Oh my
my
God!
God.
I'm so pretty.
No. So this was it.
Okay, hold on.
Had all my
hold
friends,
up.
you know.
Yes.
John Day Mustangs. I was the
Ew.
first to sign your crack.
Oh my God.
Oh
I
my
remember when people would do that.
That was Anna's dad.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
Oh my God. Do you remember when they would make our parents
Oh my God.
buy the whole pages?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And
I
so they're
remember
talking
these
about
I
prom.
remember being jealous.
This was our prom right
I
here.
was like, "Man, why couldn't my parents do that? You know?
Oh, and you know
Our
the-
prom.
you
Oh
knew-
my God.
You know the
Yeah.
the Richie rich kids
Yes.
had the like full page.
Right?
Like, okay,
I'm
calm
like,
down.
yeah, calm down, calm down. I remember.
Okay, let's see. I did take this stupid picture and I look terrible. So I remember a story about
I'm
when I
in
did
here.
this too. You are? Let's
Yeah,
see.
I'm in
What's
here.
your last name?
Miranda. So it's still under that name. Well, now. So.
Wait, how is this organized?
Right?
This is ridiculous. It's not even in alphabetical order.
Angela Garcia. Oh, I remember her. I wonder whatever happened to her.
Hmm.
She lived down the street from me. That's why I'm like, I never ever like.
Look at my friend.
Oh.
Edward Delgado.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I don't know how this is organized.
No. They're like all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Who did this?
The
Sorry if you're listening
seniors,
to
the journalist, the what is
Sorry
it?
if you're listening to this
The
and you
the
were
class.
gavel.
and you
Yeah,
were
the
part of
gavel.
this.
There I am.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's me. Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I could sit and look at this all day.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that had a really good headshot.
Yeah,
That
she
looks
really did.
good. Man. Yeah, okay, so when I was listening to this is like so off topic too, but when I was listening to you tell those stories in the last podcast, I was like, who is it? broke up
It was Carlos Villarreal.
I don't know who that is.
Villarreal.
Do you know where he is?
Do you remember? Did y'all ever know her?
Mm-mm.
She was like a model, and she would be
yes,
there.
yes.
She was her name was Whitney.
Yeah,
and her,
yeah.
She was like this big old model, and she was stuck up, and she would try to be my friend, and she would be like making it seem she was not with me.
Well, you weren't
like,
sweet to anybody.
No, like she really wasn't. And so
What's wrong with you?
You weren't mad at anybody.
No, she was not.
Yes,
to me.
she was. She was the sweetest.
No.
I remember I had a class with her.
And I did have a class with her, and there was I remember this guy, she had been particularly, like, ugly with me and him, and he was like, no, girl, don't ever think, like, I remember he would talk about her, and
No,
I just
I'm not
remember
in here.
James, he was one of my best friends.
It should be Muriel.
Oh, there's like a little index and stuff, right? It'll tell you.
Show her Michael.
I do.
She passed away.
Who?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even
Who?
know that.
Dinah.
Which one? What?
Mm-hmm.
She passed away this past year, right?
I don't know when. I don't remember when. She was the sweetest. Oh
Yeah,
my
she
God.
was. I remember her.
And so like bubbly and like fun and just like
No,
the sweetest.
I'll never forget. Maybe you knew him. His name was Javier Ibarra or Javier Romo, and he passed away our junior year.
Oh, no.
2 weeks.
Yeah. He had a car accident, right? He was in choir.
I was with him. But okay, so the
Stop.
backstory behind that is
On
that
Hildebrand or something, right? I heard.
yeah. Well, the thing is I wasn't with him during high school. We grew up he was the boy that chased me in 5th grade.
He was so like funny.
Actually that junior year he had been chasing me already again, and he had been telling me, we're gonna get married. Like, just leave him and come with me. We're meant to be. And I would be like, I'm with Michael. I can't do that. And he was like, come on. And he's not in there. And
who she's looking for.
and so
You're here.
like. There you are. She's right. I thought that was you, but I was like, is that you?
You're out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not showing up.
Look, yeah, I'm right below her.
Oh. Yeah.
And so, you're like, this, I'll show that.
That's just,
And so,
that away.
yeah, so I was like, he was the boy that chased me, like, the whole time. We were best friends. He was in love with me, and he chased me all through elementary, all through middle school. Fell in love with him. Then he didn't show up, like, our 8th grade year. And then we started talking again, and then I found out he was talking to somebody else, Melanie.
That's the prior one, right?
Yeah. And so
She
was sweet, but I didn't know, and I was hurt. And I remember, like, I didn't talk to him freshman year, and then it was our sophomore year. He was like, please don't be mad at me. I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you all my life. And he was like, we're going to get married. Like, stop playing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no. And I was like, I'm with somebody. I was like, you're just going to have to wait. And he was like, really? And I was like, and I even told him, like, stupid me. I was like, go have fun. Look at all these girls, because they were all checking him out.
Mm-hmm.
He was handsome.
Yeah, he was.
He was super handsome. He was already taller than me. And I was like, why are you still chasing me?
Yeah.
Like, we did all this to each other. Like, why are you going to do that? And he was like, you're my girl. He would always tell me that. You're my girl. And he was like, and so everybody who grew up with us, like all our classmates, they would always say, like, that we were the married couple. They expected us to get married.
Yeah.
And so when he passed away, even though we weren't together, they all kept coming up to me. And even though they knew that he had been with her at one point, they all kept coming up to me and telling me, Angela, we're so sorry. And my mom sheltered me, and, like, I wasn't the girl that would go to parties. I was not allowed to do any of that while I was with my mom. And so I didn't find out about it until school. And somebody told me, and I was like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you joking like that? You don't joke like that. So I didn't believe it. Yeah, it was over the weekend.
Yes.
It was like over a weekend.
Because I remember he was in choir with us, right? I think, Carolyn, were you there or no? But I remember Mr. Lang saying, have a good weekend, be safe. I don't want anybody doing anything crazy.
Yep.
And then we came in Monday, and I remember he sat us all down.
Oh,
And
then
he
I don't
told us.
freaking remember then.
So
Yeah.
that was him. That was my, like, and
Yeah.
so he was like my sweetheart. I know if he had
Yeah.
lived, we would have gotten married. He would have been, mine. And
Yeah.
so the thing is like when everybody was coming up to me, I was like so angry, I'm so mad, and then my ex was so jealous. Like, why are you crying? Why are you know? And I was like, this was, and I remember I did hurt him because he was like, why are you crying? Like, you shouldn't be crying. And I was like, we have a history. And he was like, well, you're not with him, you're with me. And I remember telling him, well, understand this. Had he still lived, I would have left you a long time ago for him. Like, and I was being matter of fact because you have to understand that boy chased me
Yeah.
for so long. And then not only that, but he waited for me. And then when we finally did get together, like, he was my best friend.
Yeah.
I remember in elementary, this boy went and wrote a love letter, handed it to the teacher, and asked the teacher, can you please give this to her? I'm in love with her. And the teacher was like, even though it's against my judgment, here you go. And so she did give me the note, and I remember reading it, and he was like, Angela, I'm so in love with you. You're so beautiful. When I came in, I was still like a tomboy. I didn't realize my appearance. I didn't realize that I was a curvy girl or I was a beautiful girl because I had been raised around boys and men. And so I didn't realize that. So I would be, doing my schoolwork and I would look up and he'd be like mooning over me. Literally legit mooning over me. And I'm like, where are those boys at?
So he's right there, but you can't see his face. But I think he was mostly
Let me see.
drama.
That's
or
him?
He was in the...
He was fucking hot. I remember him.
That's him.
But he doesn't look the same.
Because that's like
I know.
2016.
I remember him. That was your boyfriend?
Yeah, for like 3 months. Now he's like...
I remember I had the hugest crush on this guy. He was in band. I'm not going to say his name because there's probably people watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna say his name.
Yeah. No.
But we went on a Six Flags trip. I think like to Dallas or something like that.
Yes.
Band came with us. Came along with us or something like that. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Mm-mm. There was him and there was another guy, but he's never been in the yearbooks. But I remember
don't know who he is. He was in theater.
Let me see if I can find him. What if I find him? Is he not in the shoot? In the photo shoot?
He's not in this.
No, that's the only...
Are you serious?
Picture, yeah, I looked him up.
Oh, wow. What was his name?
Do you
Carlos?
keep in contact with everybody?
Well, I mean, I have...
He's on 7 and 10. 7, 10. Go back. Is that him? They said he was. Yeah.
He was the nerd.
So go look at 10 or 7. I don't recognize him either. Yep, that's him.
I wasn't at school a lot.
I was, but until my
I know, and I think I remember, like, wondering where you were. And so I looked in my freaking book earlier today.
Yeah. With
I looked in my book, and I was like, did she write something? And so I'm going through, like, the messages and stuff, people writing to me. You weren't there, so I was like, oh, I wonder why she didn't. Yeah. I don't know. It was very fuzzy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
High school was very fuzzy.
It was. And it was so long ago.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I found this crap.
I think by the time I got to high school, I kind of like went behind the scenes because in middle school I had been like in the front of the scenes and by all the popular people and hanging out with them or trying to, and so, I kind of got tired of that scene, and so I kind of like, kind of went behind.
I just always did my own thing, and relationships were always hard for me. Like, I don't know why, but I always had my choir peeps. I always had a friend here and there.
Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah, like, the cheerleaders, I knew somebody there, and then
Yeah.
like choir, I knew somebody
Yeah,
there.
because I
and-
know it was you and Candace.
Yeah,
Always around each other.
Yeah, well, Candace had a car. So
Beth had a car. Oh, that's my ride right there.
Yeah.
That was the same thing, but then I was with Michael, and so when Michael got his car, there was no, and he had already graduated.
Oh, getting the car.
So
Getting
once he got the
was,
car,
like, the
we were,
best, right?
yeah, and he would
Mhm.
tell me, "Baby, you don't have to go back to school," and I would be like, "Okay."
Well, then
You
we had
know?
the mall, like, right across the street.
Right there,
like,
yeah.
All you had to do
Yeah.
was just go out the fence and, like, spend your day, like, wherever.
Yeah, and they never stopped us.
But I never went to the mall because, like I said, my mom scared me. So I would be like, my mom would tell me, if I get out of work and I see you anywhere, you're gonna get your ass
Well,
beat.
yeah.
And so
back
I
then,
did
they
it.
didn't do the phone calls home.
No.
And all that stuff. And
Nope.
you would maybe get an occasional, like,
Yeah.
letter, like,
Exactly.
But I would get there
And then you
before
would-
my mom, so I'm like,
So then when you would get
Where
the
is it?
Right? And then we would get the report cards and you would see like you were absent and my mom would be like, well, what's that? I was like, oh, that was an error. They already told me that
but
was
that's
an
how
error.
many days I've been there. Or something
Yeah,
like
and so, and he was there, baby, you can come home. Or
Well, I
you
don't
can-
think I would ever show my mom the report card or whatever. Like, I already knew her signature. I would practice.
Yes,
her
me too.
signature.
Me too.
No, you want to know
too.
what's bad is that I used to do for my friends is I would sign their report cards and I would get paid to do it in middle school and in
Like
high school.
hustler over
Like
here.
I
like,
fucking
that
would
shit.
sit there and actually sign like
Yeah.
I put the paper
And I was
and
like,
then
I did not recognize the business opportunity.
Heck
there. Like,
no! What's about? I would literally get paid by my friends to sit there and fucking do their
How do you
signature.
have money in middle school?
Girl, I
Like-
dated. Okay, so remember I told you my history,
My
kind of it.
Parents would give me like quarters. Like, go here's $1. Go buy a cup of fries. Like,
My mom wouldn't give me money.
really.
At the time, my mom wouldn't give me money, and not that I'm proud of it, but I would date older guys at the time, even at that time, and they would give me money. And so, like, I wasn't
in
really.
middle school.
Yes, in middle school.
Oh Lord.
But I
Okay,
mean,
what are we
you
gonna
gotta
do with you?
you gotta understand. I was not very like. I was independent. I was living with my mom, but I was still very closed off to my mom.
Yeah.
And so, and my mom didn't care, 'cause she had her boyfriend. So, yeah, what would I do? Like, I mean, I had all these guys chasing me. Remember, I told you. So I was really angry. So I would take advantage, and that was kind of the way. Like, oh, you can say you're my boyfriend or whatever,
Yeah.
but just give me money.
There's no shame in having a side hustle in middle
Oh
school.
my god.
Oh my God, that's like my fucking mom. She always has this damn quote, and it's from
I don't want to know.
was it The Beauty Shop, that movie?
Mm-mm.
If a man wants to pay your bills, he gonna let you pay your bills or something like that.
Oh my
And so
god.
Anna's like, like Anna, don't listen to your grandma.
No,
That's the wrong person.
That's
I
a
mean,
lie.
there is something to it, though.
But,
like, you
I
don't
mean-
have to struggle.
But-
If you're beautiful, there's
my
no
God.
reason you should be struggling.
Oh,
Like,
that girl
Yeah,
does it.
no,
That girl
take
does it.
advantage of it. Like,
I'd
if
rather
they're-
struggle now, but I think it's because lessons learned. But I'd rather struggle now than sit there and do the shit that I probably.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything bad. Like, don't think like I was like
Maybe
this
it's
little
a
whole
balance,
thing, but it was a
right?
balance.
Like,
Like,
you have your own money and you have your own
Mhm.
company and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
if a guy wants to buy you a purse or whatever, like, just let him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't picky.
Oh my gosh. So no, but I mean,
How, like, are we going on like 3 hours?
No, we're
No.
going on 2 hours, but it's gonna be 9 right now.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if there's any final thoughts. I feel like Jerry Springer. Any final
Right.
thoughts?
Right? Final thoughts. Oh my God,
I'm
Angela.
a shitty mom and I'm okay with it.
I'm a
I
work
have
in
guilt.
progress, Mom, and I'm learning.
I want to beat my kid's ass, you know.
I
Whatever.
mean, this was a good
I
conversation.
feel like, no.
Oh my God.
I feel like when Avery's doing a tantrum or Ben's going through his stuff, I'm going to be like, well, at least they're not smearing shit all over their room.
There you
Like-
go. There you go. Because I mean, you
Pray
can
to little
sit there
baby
and say,
Jesus.
My kids were
It
not.
could be worse.
You see,
Oh,
and my
yeah.
daughter did, and so she laughs now because she did that. My son, I haven't even told y'all the biggest story too. My son, when he used to be afraid of like automatic toilets, and it wasn't even a
Oh,
temper
yeah.
tantrum type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I still lost my crap. Like I remember, we had gone camping, and my son didn't want to say he had to go to the restroom, and so he would basically
Yeah.
shit his pants, or he
Yeah.
would like, pee all over himself. And so we were packing. I remember I had to keep washing that weekend. We had gone camping. And so we're finally like, everything's packed up. We're getting
in the river,
like,
Right.
no, like I remember, oh my god. So we had kept going into town, and we kept washing our stuff. So we're like finally back at the fucking campsite, and I'm like packing. Melina, Victor, they were packing, and Liam was like hanging around, and I'm calling Michael, and I'm like, your fucking kid, like your son, he's been shitting all over the place and doing this, like. When we get home, like, you need to take him for a couple of hours, because that's when I still had faith that he was gonna be involved. And so he was like, really? Oh my God, Angela. And so I'm like by the lake, and I'm talking, and I'm like complaining, and I'm on the phone, and I go to turn around, and Victor and Melina are on the truck, and they're putting the stuff in, and I see Liam like hanging around like the tree, and there's like a little team of kids playing football, and then of course there's a campsite and everything. And what do I see my son do? He's like, he goes, he pulls down his pants in the open, goes to the tree, and fucking shits. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, Victor! And I remember I yelled, and he was like, what? And he like looks, and he was like, Angela, get him to stop! Get him to stop! Like he was yelling, and Melena was like, like it was like a normal.
I've done it before.
And I was like, oh my God. And so I remember like,
At least it's not in his pants.
right? And so
That's true.
Victor's like, Angela, you need to get her, because we were surrounded by white people, because this
Oh.
campsite was like the all-American, so we were the only Mexicans.
How do you get him to stop? How do
you know-
what? Plug it up? What the hell?
And so he was like, make him stop. And I was like, no.
If
And
a
he
dog
was like,
can do it,
right?
then-
And I was like, let him finish. And so I remember, like, he finished, and he's like looking at me, and
no.
and I was like, oh my
Do
God.
you need a magazine?
You know,
or
right?
like your
I
phone?
remember, like,
Want some water?
I was so embarrassed. I was so fucking embarrassed. And I was like, oh my God.
Wait. Did you pick it up?
No. So wait.
Get a
hold on.
doggy bag of shit.
Hold on.
You
No, I didn't. So what I ended up doing.
Dirt.
And so Victor's like, Angela, get him to stop. And I was like, no, let him finish. And he was like, what? And I was like, let him finish. He started, like, I'm already past the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like, let him finish. And so, of course, Liam finishes and stuff like that. And I'm like, fucking cleaning him up, like, trying not to be pissed or whip him right there. And he was like, looking at me, and I was like, okay, now go get a bag and pick it up.
Yeah.
So I made him pick it up, and I remember,
Pick
like,
up your shit.
pick up your shit. And so, I wasn't gonna do it, and Victor was like, but he was doing that,
I can't.
and so the thing is that he still kind of smelled like crap, and so I
Poor
remember,
baby.
like, because he like had shit, and so I was like, we had brought 2 vehicles, and I was like, good luck, you're taking him with you, and I was like, it's the girls with girls and boys
Yeah.
with boys, good luck. He drove with the windows down, and I told Michael, "You're picking him up. You better meet us when we get into San Antonio, because you need to pick him up." So
Shit smells
so nasty.
What are you eating? Like,
Like-
I know I'm feeding you, but like, what are you eating?
What are you
Like,
eating?
I don't
What the heck is
understand.
going on?
Yeah, that's when my daughter, with Silas and stuff, and I go in the room, I'm like, oh boy, what the hell?
Yep.
And she's like, Mom, I shouldn't have gotten that spicy little meal. I don't know. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. I'm like,
Like
oh my
burning
God.
him in the insides.
Yes. So if you want to ever think that you have a bad, remember my kids.
Yes,
And my kids will laugh. And my kids laugh. Like, my daughter always brings up the shitty, like the tree. And
Yeah.
I was like, ma'am, you had the bedroom. You took the cake. Like, really
Yes.
took the fucking cake.
Yeah.
And so she's like, what? And I'm like, no. So if y'all ever feel bad about your kids, just remember mine and how I went to, like, and I did. And I remember Victor was like, how can you sit there so calm? I was like, what the fuck do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
happening.
It's happening.
I can't stop it, and what's the point at this
Yeah.
point, I had already learned with Melena, so it was like, at this point, how,
Yeah.
like, why do you
Give
want
me
me
a
to get
sheet
mad?
or something. Like, give him some privacy.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember the fucking football little team, they stopped and they were staring at him, and I was like, Oh my God. I was
And they
like,
probably didn't even care. They're like,
yeah. And he didn't. He was there like so.
like a baby.
Right, exactly. And Victor, that right there was the priceless moment, was seeing a grown ass toxic man sitting there fucking afraid of a 5-year-old or 3-year-old. I don't even remember his age. I think he was like 3 or 4. And he was like fucking shitting on the tree. And his eyes like literally popped out of his head, and he's like, Angela, what are the people gonna think? I said, what the fuck do you care?
Yeah.
Like, what do you care?
Well,
like, they're gonna
it's
do
not
it.
like you're at a ballet recital.
Right?
You're camping.
Exactly.
People were out there doing wilderness things.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Probably
like,
doing
it's not that far off the wall that somebody would shit in a bush,
right?
Yeah. Like, it's not like you're, whatever.
And so, yeah, that kind of happened. So we do talk about that
yes,
moment.
it could be worse.
It could be worse.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. I'm glad to be of service.
Well, my kids didn't go through that shit.
No,
God for
yeah.
that.
Mine have not yet. We'll just say yet.
And I remember when Milena did that scene when she was little, I took her to a therapist. I really did. I was like, because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
and I remember
it's like
telling
behavioral stuff.
yeah. And I was like, is this something like abnormal?
Yeah.
Is this what's going on?
That's
and
the other thing too, is you don't know what's normal and what's not normal. Because even if it, like, I can reach out to a friend and say, like, this is going, oh, my kids didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like every kid is so
Everybody's
different.
so different.
Yeah, you don't know what's.
Unfortunately, my kids didn't give a fuck, and they did what they wanted to. And so, like, the therapist did say, like, no, she's not normal.
Yeah.
She just doesn't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
And this is her way of, like,
Well, she doesn't need to smear shit everywhere.
And I remember saying
Use
that.
your words. Not your shit. Your words.
Are you trying to write me something?
Right.
Like, what are you trying to do?
Like, I was like,
a
oh my
caveman
gosh.
or something?
I was so...
Little fucking stick figures and shit.
Hieroglyph.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you want milk? Okay, got it.
Okay, got it.
You're hungry?
Yeah.
Shit. Shit. I know.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, that's stuff that kind of like happened, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So yes, I did go through it. I did took her to therapy. I didn't take him. I should have, maybe, but I took her to therapy, and they were like, no, she's normal. She just doesn't understand. Try to be more loving. They gave me more positive, like, try to be more loving, be more involved. See that you're giving her the attention, and it's not just the baby. Because I wasn't the only thing that she did. She like saw me breastfeeding my son, and so she was like upset. She was 3 years old, and she was like, "That's mine."
Yeah.
And she latched on at the same time. So I have
Yeah.
both kids on me.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that too.
And so it was really hard to even get her to wean off.
Yeah.
Because it was that jealousy. So be thankful.
Yeah, I didn't breastfeed.
No,
Yeah.
me either.
No, I did. But my son couldn't handle it. It was like he was drowning in my boob or something. And he could not. Like, he really did.
Well, Avery was 9 pounds 1 ounce, and so she was a huge baby. So like I couldn't keep up with how much she needed, and so I was like doing like half breast milk, half formula, and then it was like 3/4 formula, and then because like she wasn't like to the nipple, she was like bottle fed, and so I just stopped producing, and so I was just like, why am I like on me about like breastfeeding and stuff, like just whatever, like she's fed, like it's fine.
And that's
and
what
then with
said.
Ben, I didn't even try. I was just like, formula's fine.
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
with
even
them,
try.
when Milena was, I think she didn't wean off completely until she was 4. As much as I tried, I kept like pushing her away, and
Hell no.
no, I kept pushing her away. Like, we kept trying to discourage her.
Feed you while you're watching Bubble Cookies.
Like, she wouldn't.
No.
And the thing is that we could be at Walmart and she didn't care. She'd pop it out and like try, and I would be like, "Get away!" Like, I'm holding her at bay. It was that kind of thing.
Dang,
And
it
so-
must have been good.
Obviously, like, but my son, he was all, like he's drowning, and so I was like, "Oh my god!"
No.
So at 6 months is when I kind of got him off of it. And he was he was bottle fed for a little bit, and then he went straight to food, solids. But my daughter was like, that's mine.
Dang. No.
No. I mean, kids are funny. I mean, they really are.
They really are.
And I remember Anna being 4, and we were, I think, at a mall or something. I had to go to the bathroom, and of course, it's that time of the month and everything, and she's in the damn stall with me,
Oh my gosh.
and she's like, and I'm there, whatever, and she's like, "Mom, you're on your period?"
Oh my gosh.
Loud, and I'm like, God, oh no. No, she was like, "Do you need a Band-Aid, Mom, for down there?" I think that's what she said, and I'm just like, "Oh, holy fuck."
So, like, why are we embarrassed about that anyway?
Right?
Like, everybody freaking gets their period. Like,
Yeah.
I
why
know.
am I trying to, like,
Hide it
drug
and be
dealer,
nice.
like, a tampon
Right?
into my,
There you
like,
go.
so you don't see it?
That's what I do. I get like the travel ones,
Do
and
you
I'm just
still
like,
do that?
I fucking do. I don't know why. I'm just like,
That was me when I
I'm
was in
at
the
Target,
office
like,
at work.
oh, like, here. Like, I even have a coupon. Here.
well, I mean, like taking
And I
it
buy 2
somewhere.
at a time now because of my daughter, so I'm like, here. And they're like,
I don't
okay.
care.
No, I mean, like buying them, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like going somewhere, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I was in the middle of the grocery store and I went into my bag and I took something out and a fucking pad fell out and I was like, I'm like scrambling.
It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. Don't look.
Oh my god. Oh my
Why are
god.
we like that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, that was just, yeah, I'm just like, on a shush, I mean, stop.
I just don't want Avery in there with me, not because, like, the period thing. I don't want to have to explain it to her.
Yeah.
Like I'm not ready yet.
I know.
Like,
I know. And yeah, I'm just, yeah. And then of course my son, he scared me. He scared the shit out of me once because he was so small. If anybody doesn't know, my son, he has a hormone deficiency, and so he was so short for his age.
Yes.
And we were stationed in Killeen, and of course we had our house and everything. And I thought he was outside with his dad, and it turned out he wasn't. So I'm searching the house. I am going freaking crazy. Anna's there playing on the Wii and stuff, and I'm just like, "Where's your brother?" And she's like, "I don't know. He was with me." I'm going to every room. I'm searching. I'm going to the backyard. I'm panicking, and I'm starting to cry and stuff. Well, she's over here, and I don't know why I did it, but it was these couches, and we had like big pillows and stuff. They were on the couch. And so she goes, and sure enough, there he is, asleep. The pillows covered him. And I'm just there, and he's there smiling and stuff. So I thought like he was like, hiding from me. I was so scared and mad at the same time that I'm like, spanking him like, "God damn it, leave me!" I know. And he's like, crying.
what is going on? I was like taking a nap. Like, God.
That was the
Oh my
worst
God.
feeling in the world.
Oh, I
You
can't
know,
imagine.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
Speaking
God.
of the little devil.
yeah.
When you're coming home.
Yep. Yep. My son.
We went to go get food. I go to, her apartment and stuff, She doesn't come here. It's only the podcast, but I go over there. Just for me to escape. I go over there. And so we went to go pick up pizza and stuff. And as soon as we got out of the car and we're walking, her son's at the top. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
And I found out.
No, like, oh, I was tracking you, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
He tracks me.
Yeah.
He tracks me. And I'm like, just like her son texts her, like, "Hey, where you at?" No, mine tracks me. He's like, "Mom, what are you doing? Where are you going?" If I'm close to the house, he's like waiting for me at the stairs because I live on the 3rd floor, so he's waiting for me at the stairs.
Oh my God.
So, Mommy, where are you? He's 15. Let me tell you. Are we talking about separation issues?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe that should be another topic for another day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, my son's not that bad. He does ask me where I'm going, or when I come back, he's like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "Seriously?"
I've been gone for 3 days.
Right? And you just noticed?
Just
Right?
noticed.
And I'll tell her that. I'm like, "You've been here for like 3 hours. Nobody's messaged you to find
She
out."
freaks out.
I freak out because my kids, You can tell. They're already texting me. Where
Yeah, so
are you?
I tell her, I go, mine don't bother me and stuff. You would love my kids because they don't bother me. They're doing their thing and whatever. I'm just there watching my movie in peace, whatever and stuff. I'm like, I don't see my kids.
So you can either have your kids are gonna either go one way or the other,
or be like, peace, mom, we got it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
But
is,
either way, it's still a good feeling.
yeah, no, I know,
yeah.
and I know it's getting late and
Yeah.
stuff, but like the thing is, when they do have their own stuff, and I finally get some time to myself, I also have to be a wife. So
Yes.
it's like I don't get
When
to
you get that
spend.
time.
Yeah, when I get like time to myself or to be an adult, like not a mom, then it's like, okay, well now I feel guilt. I have wife guilt because it's like I can either spend that time on me or I can spend it with him because we haven't had alone time in God knows when. So
Exactly.
it's just like
If you need a
you're
babysitter,
trying to like
there's my
please
17-year-old.
everybody. Yeah, you're trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing is I have family who's willing to help all the time, but it's just like I don't want to ask for help, and it's all those things. But,
no, I get it.
But yeah, the other side of it is like you aren't just trying to make time for yourself; you're also trying to make time for your spouse or your
When you
significant
split
other,
that
or whatever.
time.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
That thing between you and your husband and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's very important. Not to lose that.
Yeah. So what we do is like every night, our time when the kids go to sleep, Ben goes to bed in his bed, but he always ends up in ours. So like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, like he'll come and he'll ours. Yeah. But that time that we have, that little window where it's just me and him, we watch a movie.
Yeah.
Girl.
I'll go straight to it's sexy time.
And me, I'm like, I just want to relax. Like, I don't want massage. I don't want anything.
You're like massage leads to more.
Yes.
No.
Why can you not just give me a massage and it just be a massage? Like, I don't understand.
That's not how guys work. They never work
But like,
like that.
we just watch our little show and like we just like talk about whatever, and that's just like our time, like to connect and stuff. But
of course.
But you're definitely.
But then
blessed.
it's like, where's my alone time? Like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're pleasing somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I think what you need to do is actually like pick a day.
Yeah.
And this say
Yeah.
like this is for me, because if you don't, it's really really crucial. And I would have never said that. Nobody ever taught me that.
Yeah.
But even now to this day, like I'll tell the kids, like I need a day for me. And you kind of know how the last one went. I took a day for me. I hadn't done that in months.
Yeah.
And so I took a day for myself, and it didn't end up going too good because their dad tried to take off, and the kids would have been left alone.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell myself too, every situation is temporary.
Yes.
It's not forever.
Exactly.
They're not going to be little forever.
Nope.
They're going to be independent. They're going to want to do their own stuff. And so it's like, this is just my life right now, and that's fine.
Yep.
And that's what my husband and I have that understanding. Like,
Yeah.
it sucks right now, but it's not going to suck forever. And so we just have to get through this together, and then we'll have
But
our
not
time
only
again.
that, like y'all will have y'all's time. They're gonna get older, but even at now, like y'all can. I think what y'all are doing is great, but even at that, y'all do need y'all's own time. He needs his time, and you need your time.
Yeah.
And in that way, so when y'all do come together as a family, it's better.
Yeah.
And as a couple, it's better.
Yeah, and that's what wax was when I started doing the whole wax intellectual stuff. Like, it was my time.
Yeah.
But then that became too much. Like,
Yeah.
you're spending 3 hours upstairs, and like you don't ever come down, and I'm like, because I like it. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and doing this job, because of course when he was in the military and stuff, I always wanted just one parent to be with my kids. So of course, I'm the stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to do something that I enjoyed and that I loved, and then this happened.
Yeah.
And so doing it for 13, 14 years, of course, when in 2015 hit and I did the Whataburger baby, picture blew up. From that moment until now, I'm constantly busy. And so trying to balance that and try to have time for myself, it's so hard because people are just so demanding. I need newborn,
But
I
that's
need
when you
newborn and
have to
stuff.
learn how to say no. And I think
Well, it's,
well, for you, it's only like a few days window, right? When they're born to where
Yes,
you can
so,
photograph.
yeah, so I always tell them, and I stress it so much on my page, it's always best to do it between 5 to 10 days old.
Yeah.
Don't come to me when you're like, oh, it's a month, it's 2 months. No, they're a baby.
Yeah.
You need to know the difference.
Yeah.
And so, like, I stress that, but
You
this
basically
year,
have to be on call for people.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had a baby.
yeah, so I
Schedule
tell
me in
them,
for 5 days. Like,
yeah, so they tell me their due date and stuff. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm putting your due date down, but you need to get a hold of me, keep me updated, because you can have the baby early, you can have it late.
Yeah.
I know this and stuff, so yeah. And so they're very good about that, but I do the newborns during the week, while my son's in school and stuff. But then, last year I was completely busy, and I was just drained doing, hollow screen and also doing pictures. And so it just became so overwhelming and stuff. And then trying to do another job, working on Hobby Lobby, I was like, I can't do it. I can't do this. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And so I'm more as a business person than working at fucking retail and stuff. Like, I'm not going to do that crap.
Yeah.
And so this year, I'm like, these are the dates I have open. These are the months that I'm taking off. You either book or you don't.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
that's really kind of how you have to be, because you need to take that time.
Because people will take advantage.
People will take advantage.
Yeah.
If you don't put those boundaries, they're going to keep going. And so,
Well, in their defense too, this is very important. Like, well,
understandable.
it's like social media. They just want the, like, let me just post it. But, so it's, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like, I didn't do this for my kids because I'm just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
You got the memories.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
They have
yeah,
the
I
memories.
have the memories. Yeah, but to them it's like everything. Like they have to have this shot, like with a little like thing.
Yeah.
Yes, like it's so important to everybody. So I get it from their perspective, but they will take advantage of you.
They
Never
will.
saying
And
no.
I've had a lot of people take advantage of me and stuff and trying to get like a better price and stuff. So I dealt with a lot of crap, and I wanted to give up so many times, and then my loyal clients were like, no, don't do it, because who we're gonna go to? You're like the best, Carolyn. This and that. I'm like,
Such good money.
And then not only that, but like
Like
I tell
especially if you're good, like damn, you can charge a lot. Like for how many years you've been doing this? I mean, that experience is not cheap.
No, it's not. And she does. She grants that to them.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is like I'm a big advocate about doing for yourself now, just because of what I've gone through. And so I always tell her, you always spread yourself thin. Please take time for yourself. I would buy her flowers every now and then. I will like sit
That's
there
a
and
good friend.
like take her out to eat, and I'm like, come
Really
on,
good
like,
friend.
like because I see her doing so much.
Yeah.
She did so much for me too. So why wouldn't I give her that?
Yeah.
And so like I tell her, you need to do more for you. So that was her goal this year. We're gonna keep trying to get it done, because I want her to see it, because it does feel good, even though you get the mom guilt in the beginning. It feels good to know that you can take that time for yourself after.
well, yeah, when we did that girl road trip and stuff,
amazing.
that was the
We're
best.
we're gonna have to take you. We're gonna have to take
It was
you.
only one day,
Mm-hmm.
and of course me, because my little chipper ass in the morning, and I'm there like texting them like, hey, you guys ready? And they're like, yes, we're up.
I'm not a mom.
I'm
not
on
a
the
morning
way.
person at all. I was like, I need coffee now.
Yeah, so my friend Nicole, the one that's supposed to be on here, she was like, I'm on the way. And I'm like, okay, and so I come out, and I was like, no, I'm going to drive. And she was like, all right. And so she's in the car and stuff, and, we go and pick her up. She gets in the car. We need to go buy a Starbucks.
I was like,
Like 8:30, gonna be 9. And I'm there like, okay.
Yeah.
Do not talk to me until I have my coffee.
Right?
Then I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just a morning person because
she really is.
It
annoys me. Because she's like, what are you doing? I was asleep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm like, hey,
I
you're
will wake
sleeping?
up till midnight. I mean,
Yes.
till afternoon sometimes because of the kids. They're teens.
Yeah, I'm over here calling her like at noon. And she's
kids
like,
wake up at 7 every day.
They used to. My son used to be, that son is awake. Open your eyes, and he'd be like, and I'm, you kid, I want to murder you. So it gets better. And so I tell the kids, don't you wake me up before noon, because if you do, you're gonna die. And then there's Carla. What are you doing?
were you sleeping?
we both do
Yeah.
that. So
That's good.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, 15 years?
Yeah.
Knowing each other, so
About 15 years.
yeah. But
It's good. I love her.
Aw.
I do. Yeah, she's my sister. I never had a sister, so I don't. Girls' situation relationships, I'm not really good at.
Well, I'm not
You
either.
know what I mean? So I'm like.
I am the worst fucking friend. Like, I tell everybody that. If
Oh,
you want to be my friend, like, I'm not going to call you. I'm listening to y'all, like, you call each other and you go to each other's houses.
Oh, we
and
do
stuff,
that
like,
now. Don't think that we did this all the time.
No.
And if you want to be, if we're gonna get down and honest, I was a selfish friend.
Yeah,
I
I am
was.
too. Like,
So
yeah.
we had 2 falling outs. And
yeah,
stuff,
we really
you know.
did, and it was because of me too. Because I didn't
Yeah.
want to hear what she had to tell me. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like it was the
She
same.
hung up on me once. I was like, "This bitch."
She-
Oh hell no! Did you just hang up on me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, I did.
I just had a conversation with Amanda Evans. Remember?
Oh my
Just-
God, I
Yeah.
remember her.
I just talked to her last night. Yeah, after Justin passed away, my best friend Justin Rivas just passed away.
What?
Mhm.
I remember him too. I don't remember the face, but I remember the name.
Yeah.
Oh my
My little
God, I'm so
Justin.
sorry.
Yeah.
Where did he pass away from?
Just a bad night.
Oh no.
Okay.
But that was just happened, and so I hadn't talked to the twins in forever.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, they were really close to him too, and so I let them know, and then we started talking again. But I just had a conversation with her too, and like I love those relationships where you just like
Can
it's
go
okay.
away. Mhm.
You haven't called me. It's all right. Like I'm fine. Like we each have our stuff going on, and like I'm gonna tell you I love you, and you're gonna tell me you love me, and like that's we just go about our lives.
Yeah.
So, but I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm not a bad texter backer. Like I don't call people. Like I have my own family, and
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
hard to make time for people. And
because
so,
you're already spreading yourself
yeah,
thin.
if I could just text you, I love you. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about you.
Yeah.
Like you are always on my mind. Like
Yeah.
even though I don't call you, you're always on. Like I always think about you guys
Yeah.
and all that stuff. You're always on my mind. But I just like I'm so bad with making time for other people. Like
Yeah.
I don't even make time for myself. Like
Yeah.
and then to make time for friends, I don't have it in me. Like I'm just not that type of person. So
Yeah.
Well, I think we had to
so it's
grow.
good that you guys have each other.
Yeah, well, we had to grow into
Yeah.
where we're at now because
Mhm.
even before, we remember we didn't even like really talk all the time in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
after a while, like once we started having our kids, or when we had that falling out, and then I went to the house and we started hanging out after the kids. When you moved to Colleen,
Yes.
then it was like it was kind of sporadic.
Yeah.
She was far, and I would go visit her, but too, I was already having issues,
Yeah.
and so I remember
And
that.
then I came back because he was deployed,
Yeah.
and then that's when the divorce happened and
The
stuff.
divorce happened and
Yeah.
everything, and so it was just even at that. Then of course the second one, and then we had the falling out.
Yeah, and then I was stationed in Louisiana. She would call me, just about her ex and everything, and then we moved back because he got medically discharged, and yeah, it was it felt it wasn't like a 50-50 friendship
No,
and
that
stuff.
was it.
And so, he was supposed to get his pension. VA is so fucked up and stuff. They're not on their shit. And so we got evicted from our apartment. And, I just felt that, she wasn't really there for me. And so I just stopped. And we didn't talk for 5 years.
Yep.
And I reached out to her.
Yep.
And yeah, we picked up kind of where we left off and stuff. And,
I think we actually did try to talk a little bit, but when she came in, I was still going through stuff, and so I was really, really sick at the time. And so when she started coming at me and telling me, "Oh, well, you weren't here," I was like, "You know what? I don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
And I had to pull back
Yeah.
because I had a lot on my plate. So
Yeah.
we pulled back, and then after the 5 years completely passed, I was had already left him, and so that's when we
yeah. And so we basically, talked it out. This is how I felt. This is what I was going through as well, because it's not just you.
Yeah,
I was
it
going through
wasn't.
shit too, And it was like, that I needed my best friend there too.
Yeah.
Because I was constantly there for her, so I
Yeah.
needed something for me as
Yeah.
well. And, and so, just working it out and just talking and stuff and just fixing, your mistakes because you don't realize what you do.
No.
So people need to point out shit. And so when you see it, you're like, oh, fuck, okay, I did it,
And so, yeah.
And I was one of those. I was that
But
friend.
it's good that you have self-awareness to recognize that.
Well,
in
now I
yourself.
do again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
So-
she completely changed because, back then,
And you own it.
Yeah.
You don't try to make excuses and all that stuff. Like, I was a shitty friend.
I really was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it took me, and I think the only reason I own it so much is because I've seen so many people that have, like, said, oh, yeah, I did it, and then didn't do anything about it. They didn't follow through, and everybody has always held me accountable for the stuff that I did, but I didn't run away. I stayed, and I fixed it, and that's one of my biggest things. That it's even now, work, life situations, the kids, love life, everybody. Like, now I'm like, hey, y'all held me accountable, and I stayed. I didn't run, So I expect the same thing. And if you can't give me that, then
Are you a runner?
Hell no.
no.
I stick and I try to fix it and stuff.
Or do you
as
mean
much as I can.
athletically, or do you? I was like, because girl, I ain't running. She's gonna make me cry. She tried to get me to work out, and I started crying.
She fell on my floor on the fucking ball.
We were at my gym in my apartment, and then she has me lifting weights.
No, we were here. And
Why-
you fucking
why
fell.
I remember
Why
when I
did you
fell.
cry?
Because I don't like working out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like.
I'm over here like, do this.
But you
You're
could
like,
have stopped.
I could have, but I was
she
trying to
couldn't
be.
do a squat. I was like,
I could not.
squat.
And I was
Well,
like,
these knees are old.
right? That's what I'm telling her. And she's like, come on. And I was like, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. You're making me do this.
And she's just basically there like,
I really was. I was like,
and I'm like, come on.
You gotta drop it.
I was like, I dropped it. I'm not getting back up.
She's like, I want my ass. Well, come on. Get it.
So yes, this is the things that we go through. She could not stop laughing when we were at the gym though, and she had me lifting weights, and I was like, "Oh my god, are we almost done?"
Oh, I love lifting
I was
weights.
telling her to throw up the medicine bar.
Oh,
and she
yeah.
was like,
I was like, "Shut up, let's just go to the sauna."
I was like, higher.
Oh, I love
Higher.
the sauna.
I was like, "Just shut
The
up, let's go
sauna's
to the sauna,
My
let's go."
jam.
Right?
Oh, she was fine on the bike. She was like,
She was-
and I'm like,
Right.
I'm like,
That
she
hurts
fucking-
my ass.
like, I was like,
yeah, she's out there like, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this bike?
Your legs are like this little.
I know. I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah.
Y'all are
I'm more
hilarious.
like with weights and stuff and
Yeah.
more physical and whatever.
So
It
this
was
is why our
fucking
talks last
hilarious.
so long, because we just have so
I know
much
I
to
have
talk
to
about.
pee.
I know, me too. But anyways, this has been great. This has been great.
Thank
You
you
Yes,
for
definitely,
having
yes.
me.
you
This
definitely have to
is-
come back. If your husband is watching, I'm sorry
Yeah.
we kept her so long. But
Yeah, it's already gonna be 9:30. We are
Yeah.
so sorry. I know one person's gonna be like, I can't watch this because it's like 2.5 hours. So very sorry to him. But yeah, this was a good topic. Talking about kids and everything, going back down memory lane and
Yes.
stuff, high school, whatever, busting out yearbooks and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you have like any, advice and stuff, or hopefully we gave you advice,
Yes.
whatever age your kids are in and stuff.
Think about my
or
kids.
Don't do what
Or
we do.
Yeah, don't do what we did, and think about my kids if you think you had it bad.
Yes, it's always worse. So just be glad that your kids didn't smear
My
shit
kids
everywhere.
are good. They're sometimes.
Yes.
My daughter's an angel.
Let's end with that.
Yes.
How much we absolutely love our children.
We really do.
And
Yeah.
we're so proud of them.
We really are.
Even I can tell you, my son is learning how to own up to stuff even this week,
Yeah.
and so that I do have to commend him for that.
And
My
we're
daughter-
raising some really good kids.
Very, very good kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We just have funny stories along the way, and not so funny.
Yes,
stories.
we hope that we entertained you.
Yes, definitely.
With our stories and everything. And so, of course, next week I will be back Friday, hopefully with a new guest and stuff. But yeah, so this has been great. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, even though it's Thursday. and an awesome week. And we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.